carite mai.
That's us binge watching.
Kia ora, very good afternoon and welcome along to Newtown Park in Wellington for the 19th Capital Classic. It's the Team Ledger Harcourt Capital Classic. Team Ledger have been the major sponsor for 10 years. It's the 19th in total, and we can report a glorious afternoon and evening, albeit a touch breezy here. I'm Mark Rosanowski, and alongside me is Reese Buck, and we already have 3 field events underway. Things about to get underway on the track. We've also had a race walk, and we'll bring you up to date with what's been happening so far very shortly. But Reese, by the end of the night, we'll have 2 New Zealand champions in the 3,000 metres for both senior men and senior women, and alongside that some elite athletes, some of the very best we've ever seen in their disciplines, the likes of Tom Walsh, Tori Peters and Lauren Bruce, and a couple of outstanding overseas competitors from Australia as well.
Yeah, kia ora, Mark. It is going to be a great night of athletics. Look, I can't contain my excitement, can't hide it. I am certainly looking forward to the 3K National Championship races a little bit later on, but we've got Tom Walsh just sitting just in front of us here up in the stands. He's looking relaxed and ready to go for some big puts later on in the evening, but like you say, there's certainly some exciting action to happen out there in the field, as well as some of those nice races on the track.
Indeed. At the moment we are underway in the women's high jump, and Keely Hagan, Commonwealth Games representative, finished 6th there. She's gone clear 172, 176 and 180 so far. Alice Taylor's just gone over at 180. She had 2 misses, 176, cleared it on the 3rd, and now second crack at 180 she has cleared. And Imogen Skelton still live as well, missed twice at 172, cleared at the 3rd. Missed the first time up 176, cleared at the 2nd, and now has had 1 miss at 180. So Kelly O'Hagan leading that competition. She is all clear for her 3 jumps so far. Alice Taylor hanging in there, and Imogen Skelton is still live as well. In terms of on the track, we will be seeing the under 20 open Brentwood Hotel 110 metre hurdles coming up, and we have 2 starters on the line down there, Bo Brackenbridge and James Hansen, and we'll look at that very shortly. Also underway here we have the women's triple jump down the back straight there, Reese, and also the men's javelin coming to its conclusion.
Yeah, and certainly looking out for a big jump there from Anna Thompson in the women's triple jump. Hopefully we'll get across to see some coverage of her jumps in between the field events, in between the track events. Apologies. Imogen
Skelton with a 2nd miss at 180. Down at the 110 metre hurdles, we'll have James Hansen and Bo Brackenbridge doing battle in the under 20s. James Hansen, number 280 in the black New Zealand Secondary School singlet there. He's out of Marlborough. Very good decathlete, James. He's won the last 2 youth decathlon national championships. Posted a 15:51 last month. And Bo Brackenbridge out of Christchurch Old Boys picked up youth bronze medal last nationals and silver in the 300 metre hurdles, and he'll be running in the Christchurch Old Boys singlet out of Christchurch. been some excellent results from an individual basis for the men's javelin. The New Zealand Secondary Schools champion and junior national champion Darbotis has led that competition pretty much throughout. 65 and 51 has been his best thus far. Jared Neighbours lying second with 59.19. Caleb Solar's produced a series of PBs, and his last throw 58.04 propelled him into third, a massive personal best for Caleb. As we see there at the high jump, Imogen Skelton missing at her third and final attempt there at 1.80 m. Also in that javelin, Angus Liver out of Palmerston North produced a personal best of 55 and 68. So Caleb Solar and Angus Liver throwing exceptionally well and improving their personal bests this afternoon. What obviously, Reece, must have been ideal conditions for the javelin. Not that I'm a javelin thrower of any note. Yeah,
certainly. I think there is a slight breeze here. It's not your typical Wellington wind, but certainly for the javelin, if they're throwing from the correct end, there's just enough of a wind here to assist them along a little bit.
So the two under-20s will be called to their blocks for the 110 metre hurdles. Bo Brackenbridge, Christchurch Old Boys, and in the black New Zealand Secondary Schools top, so James Hansen. And underway, good even start here. First over there, looks like James Hansen taking the lead here really on Bo Brackenbridge, who's collected a couple. There wasn't much between the seating times of these two, but it's going to be a comfortable win for James Hansen. Well clear over the last flight, and James Hansen will win comfortably from Bo Brackenbridge in the 110 metre hurdles, the under-20s.
Yeah, and James Hansen there coming off bronze medal there at the Secondary Schools Champs just a couple of months ago with a 14.70, so he's just outside that, looks like tonight, but good clean run there over the hurdles.
Shortly the World Athletics Continental Tour Challenger event over the 110 metre hurdles, and that will feature Josh Hawkins, who has been dominant hurdler for a number of years in New Zealand.
Yeah, look, it'd be awesome to see him come out here and do something impressive, but he is coming off a 10.5-100 back in November, so he is in good form. But it's been a couple of years since he set the New Zealand resident and New Zealand national records. But look, he's certainly looking fit and raring to go as I saw him walking down towards the track just a few minutes ago. So keep an eye out for Josh Hawkins there. He's, I think, scheduled to go in lane 4.
Women's triple jump happening in the back straight at the moment, and Anna Thompson expected to dominate that event, 11.98 with her third jump. Has her in front of Hannah Collins with a best of 11.41 in her second jump, and Charlotte Goldsmith, who led off with 11 metres 10.
Yeah, and we can see from our angle up here in the commentary booth, the women's triple jump, they are running into a headwind. So that could be having a small factor for those the women as they go for some good performances. Anna Thompson there at 11.98, so she's just over a metre off her best. 5-time national champion.
Down at the start for the 110 metre hurdles, and we see Max Atwell, who's come from the javelin, as has Jared Neighbours. Alice Taylor has just cleared 184 at the high jump.
And Alexandra Domansky there in the women's triple jump. They're through into the 4th round of jumps here in the women's triple.
Keely O'Hagan about to jump, I believe, in the high jump, where the bar has got to 184. And Keely's her second miss of the night, and Alice Taylor successfully over 184. So Alice Taylor, the new leader, and great night for Alice, because at her previous best at 1 metre 77, so she's gone well clear of that for a personal best. Keely O'Hagan, of course, representing us so well at the Commonwealth Games, and finishing 6th with 189. She'll have one more attempt at 184 to stay in the competition, with Alice Taylor now leading that jump of 184. Field of 4 about to get set for the 110 metre hurdles, the Brentwood Hotel men's 110. Josh Hawkins, the man to watch here, the fastest 110 metre hurdler in New Zealand history, number 284. And he'll start in lane number 4. Next to him, 424, Masaka Tamuka, Jared Neighbours, 352, he's come from the Javelin, and Max Apple, number 211, will go from lane number 7. Reese, plenty of busy people as we see. Keely O'Hagan has just missed her 3rd and final attempt in the high jump, so Keely O'Hagan will finish 2nd, and that means that Alice Taylor with a 184 will be the winner, and we'll see if she wants to raise the bar higher and see where she can get.
Yeah, and we're dealing with the typical situation here with athletics, multiple field events, as our attention turns back to the 110 metre hurdles.
Josh Hawkins, the man to watch, in lane number 4. And he's away nicely. Next to him is Masaka Tamuka and Jared Neighbours and Max Atwell on the outside, but Josh Hawkins showing his class here and driving clear here on Tamuka, and Josh Hawkins will win very comfortably here. He knocks down the last hurdle but was comfortably through. Second go by Tamuka, and Max Apple 3rd ahead of Neighbours. Always good to see somebody who's the very best that we've ever produced, Reese, in their particular discipline. We talked about those in the field events, one sitting next to us or near us. Tom Walsh, of course, Tori Peters, Lauren Bruce, done the best that any New Zealander has ever done in their discipline, and Joshua Hawkins is that man over the 110 metre hurdles.
Oh, and what an honour for those 3 young Christchurch boys there. Getting to run up against, I'm sure, for those boys, Josh Hawkins is their idol in New Zealand short hurdling.
Bar's gone up to 187 for Alice Taylor, and she jumped 177 back in November. She jumped 173 at the jumps to music at Hawera. She's a heptathlete. She won the junior heptathlon gold in 2021, and she won silver in the high jump the same year, but previous best of 177. Here she is attempting something 10 centimetres higher than that shortly. She's the last woman standing in the Fujifilm women's high jump.
We've been talking about the last couple of years. The high jump here at the Capital Classic continues to produce. We've had some amazing performances, especially from the Aussies coming over the last couple of years with records being set. And now with especially the last couple of years, some of our top New Zealanders really producing some amazing jumps here at the Capital Classic.
So Alice Taylor about to attempt 1.87 m. And she made a very good attempt too. She's got to have confidence out of that. She came in at 162, comparatively low, and she cleared that and 167 and 172. She missed twice at 176, Reece. She missed once at 180. She missed once at 184. It's been an incredible sequence, and she actually gave 187 a real shake there.
Yeah, no, from the angle that we've got up here in the booth, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking. You can't quite see what's going on close to that bar, but it did look good and just ticked off at the end.
Women's triple jump in the back. Charlotte Goldsmith is currently lying third. He's about to jump. Best to date 11.44, which was in round 4. Anna Thompson leading 11.98, her best. She produced 11.96 in round 4. Charlotte Goldsmith to jump next in the New Zealand Secondary Schools singlet.
And I think one thing that kind of gets missed sometimes at these athletic meets is a number of our former stars and families are still well involved in the athletics. We've just seen a couple of times there as we've panned back across the triple jump. One of the key officials there at the women's triple jump, Sylvia Maunda, her daughter, a former New Zealand triple jump champion. And now with grandchildren now coming through in the athletics ranks as well up in Auckland. So great to see Sylvia still being involved, and yeah, I'm sure she's looking forward to being around officiating for her grandkids now coming through the scene.
Warm-ups taking place for the Brentwood women's 100 metres hurdles. Field of 3 in front of me, although there seems to be 4 down there warming up. Here comes number 235 in the New Zealand Secondary Schools colours in the triple jump.
It's Hannah Collins there.
Talked about the high jump earlier and what it has produced. Of course, 2 years since Hamish Kerr produced the 231 national high jump record, and of course he's had a stellar 2 years since. And the year before that, Eleanor Patterson from Australia, 199 she jumped here, and of course last year crowned the world champion.
Yeah, it must be something about the Capital Classic. Jump well here and go on to win medals at the World Championship. We see Anna Thompson there for number 422. Just getting ready for her next jump. So clean jump there for Anna, still leading about 40 centimetres leading into this 5th round jump.
She won the Cooks Classic last weekend with a 12.33. Hasn't broken 12 yet until now, 12.01.
And we just see a high five there on the sidelines with her father, coach, the coach of a sibling national triple jump pair with her brother Scott. So Richard be very happy there to see a 12 metre jump. And the coverage there turns to Lisa Adams, throwing in the shot put.
Terrific to have Paralympic champion Lisa Adams here, and she'll also be backing up tomorrow at the Solar Power Throws meeting organised by Shaka Solar in the lower hut.
Yeah, and what a great combination that's been over the last couple of years. Our top throwers coming here to the Team Leisure Capital Classic and backing up the next day out at the Solar Power Throws event.
So down on the blocks, 100 metres in the Brentwood Hotel Women's 100 metre hurdles. Wound the inside and jumping the shorter hurdles will be Holly Gray. In the Christchurch Old Boys colours, Anna Percy, number 373. And then alongside her too, with the New Zealand Secondary Schools colours on, Grace Wisniewski, number 454, and next to her Maggie Jones, number 299. Maggie out of Wanganui. Grace Wisniewski fresh off a personal best over the 400 metre hurdles at the Cooks Classic. Grace out of Hamilton. Called to the blocks in a moment. Alice Taylor has just completed her third and final attempt at 187, but she'll be delighted with her efforts tonight. 1.84 in victory over Keely O'Hagan for Alice Taylor. To the blocks now, 100 metre hurdles for women. Anna Percy's broken beautifully in the middle there in the old boys colours. Holly Gray on the inside over the shorter hurdles. Grace Wisniewski in the middle and Maggie Jones on the outside. Anna Percy, all concentration here and clearing the hurdles beautifully. Up for second will be Maggie Jones ahead of Grace Wisniewski and Holly Gray.
Yeah, just a small stumble on that last hurdle for Anna.
Anna Percy fresh off a 13.81 personal best Christchurch last Saturday. She's got a couple of senior titles to her credit over the 400 metre hurdles back in 2016-17. She set the under 2400 metre hurdle New Zealand record back in 2017 in Brussels. Hannah Collins lying second in the triple jump, just completing her sixth jump. Charlotte Goldsmith is completed. She is third, 11.44. 11.48 for Hannah's final jump, and Anna Thompson to complete that sequence. Anna Percy here with 13.88. So only 7/100ths of a second outside the personal best from Saturday there, Reece. So perhaps just that last little hurdle stumble or knock, and that last hurdle might have cost her a PB there.
Yeah, and certainly we do know here at Newtown Park, we do have the swirling wind, especially as they come down towards the finish line. We can see the flags out there on the track, just swirling back and forth, but certainly a predominant light breeze as they come down to the finish straight into their head. So I understand before the event tonight there was a plan, if required, to run the 100 metres with the wind, to make sure they maximised any advantage necessary.
So the first division of the Whitby Collegiate Men's open 100 metres will be up next. And they have been allowed to utilise 9 lanes if everybody comes to the blocks.
Oh, and as we talk about that, the father of Jake Paul's just walked behind me and shaking my hand. So,
but he's drawn lane number 5 in this heat.
Good to see Neville out here at the track supporting his son as he takes on this 100 metres.
He'll be next door to Tyrone Trigo, and very little in the seeded times of Tyrone Trigo in lane 4, Jake Paul lane 5, and Ryan Shotter in lane number 6. Also under 11 seconds, Hamish Moore in lane number 7, so it should be a very competitive race. Looks like lanes 6 and 7 vacant here. Asher Pettingale Bra, the New Zealand secondary schools, coming off the back of racing well at Inglewood in the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championship. Out in lane 8, James Robertson out in lane number 9. Away they go, and it's a false start. Are we as brutal with false starts here at the Capital Classic as they are in international meets these days, Reece, do you know?
Actually, I'm not sure what level of rules they're imposing, but certainly I don't think it's an instant disqualification.
Do you have a view on such?
You know, I wouldn't want to be too controversial.
I won't hold you to it.
No, certainly it's one of those things where technology can step in and help to make sure these events are run fairly, but there's always those situations, especially at major championships, where you see someone disqualified for a false start because they reacted a little bit too early according to the blocks, and it's a shame to see, especially when we lose some of our top competitors from major champs.
The World Championships, some of them seem to be minuscule to say the least, but they were disqualified nonetheless. Lanes 1 and 2 out here as well, so we're down to a field of 5. Joshua Lotsu in lane 3, Tyrone Trigo in 4, Jake Paul in 5, and then out in lane 8, Asher Pettingale Bra and James Robertson on the outside. Look to Jake Paul and Tyrone Trigo. And they're underway this time. Jake Paul's coming out fast with Tyrone Trigo. Joshua Lotsu on the inside, running well as well. Through the middle, it's Tyrone Trigo kicking away from Jake Paul. Joshua Lotsu probably just third, ahead of Asher Pettingale Bra and James Robertson. Tyrone Trigo running in the New Zealand Secondary Schools black singlet. He ran 10.81 in November. He ran 10.89 at the Potts Classic a couple of weeks back, and the New Zealand Secondary Schools Senior Boys Champion.
Yeah, it's actually really good to see that secondary schools team being selected, them getting these uniforms and being encouraged to come out and run the classics over the summer in their New Zealand kit. One, it's easy for us commentators because it's certainly easy to pick out our rising stars from that secondary schools champs. But look, for some of these kids, it's a first opportunity to be selected in a team, get a New Zealand black singlet, and get to represent your country. It might be domestically at the moment, but certainly an opportunity, a stepping stone, hopefully, for some of these young kids to go on to Oceania champs, world champs, Commonwealth Games, and so on.
10.61 will be interesting to see what the wind comes up at, because it's an outstanding time for Tyrone. 10.61. A little later in the men's elite, get to see Drew Rodriguez Chico, who will be an outstanding addition to New Zealand sprinting.
Just to interrupt you there quickly, we've got a 1.61 wind on that 100, so so really good time there for Tyron Trigo.
Yeah, could be delighted with that. And good conditions for the sprinters, as it turns out. Heat 2 about to go to the blocks. 378 Mate Podium in lane 3. Liam Kilby in lane 4, number 304. Theo Almazan, number 205. In the blue, 229. Ethan Calder Cass, Max Wilson out in lane number 7.
It looks like Bo Brackenridge, we saw a little bit earlier in the hurdles. There's maybe a scratch there.
He's in his socks. He's there in his socks. And he's discussing with the starter at the moment, I think, as to whether he can take his place. How's the shot put looking, Reece?
Now, I've just actually pulled up the women's triple jump. We all finished up there. Anna Thompson passing on around 6 there. I think she was pretty stoked with her 12.01 there in the women's triple jump to take that out. No change in standings over that last round. Hannah Collins, representing New Zealand secondary schools, finishing with 11 metres 57, and Charlotte Goldsmith also with the secondary school strip, 11.44 metres. So some good jumping there, and great to see Anna Thompson get back out over 12 metres in 2023.
Fastest seeded time in heat 2 of our 100 metres belongs to Theo Almazan, number 205. Out of Wanganui. Bo Brackenridge has joined them and is going to take his place.
And we are getting some results through from that shot put. For now, we've got the results through there from Lexi Maples. Or just updated there, Natalia Rankin-Chatar there, 13.32 metres. Currently in second there in the women's shot put, 11.22 metres is Lexi Maples from Christchurch Old Boys. And Michaela Sola with a 10.57. Just waiting for those results coming through from the F37 category in the women's shot put. That includes Lisa Adams. Just waiting for those results to come up.
Underway in this heat, and Theo Almazan's been headed comfortably here by the man next to him, Ethan Calder Cass, who's gone through for a comfortable win. Muddy Podush was close up there, and Theo Almazan just in behind.
This evening, it's for the 3,000 metres walk, the Athletics Wellington 3,000 metres walk. And presenting the medals tonight is Quentin Wu. Quentin is one of the legends of New Zealand track and field, a 3-time Olympian.
Ethan Calder Cass out of the Parapara Umu club. Had a seeded time leading to this of 11.25. We'll see what he's been able to record shortly.
In the 3,000 metre walk, on a time of 13 minutes 56, Laura Langley. In second place, Antonia Martin. In the third place, Jacqueline Wilson.
11.10 for Ethan Calder Cass. 11.32 William Kilby second. Matthew Podush was third, 11.57. Ahead of Max Wilson, Theo Almazan and Bo Brackenridge. So some quick times being recorded here in what have turned out to be idyllic sprinting conditions.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning before about the intention to run with an advantageous wind. They're just running it as normal, and Wellington wind is coming to the party.
Time on 12 minutes 47 seconds is Jonah Crop.
So just doing some presentations down there on the track for the race walks that occurred just a little bit earlier, the pre-meeting.
And in that race walk, we saw another good clash between Jonah Crop and Lucas Martin. And once again, Jonah Crop coming out on top. That's in there on top of the dais, number 243. In his New Zealand Secondary Schools singlet, but he's out of St Andrews College. He won the New Zealand Secondary Schools title by about 3 seconds from Lucas Martin, who's 3.34, and we were watching that race, Reece Buck, and the pair of them actually came together and tripped and both nearly fell with a lap to go. It was that competitive.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to be the judge there at the start-finish line as they had a lap to go and make some decisions around that.
Laura Langley took out the women's event, the 3,000 metre race walk, which did feature Jackie Wilson, who owns world titles and a world record in the 75 plus category. Jackie's 77, and she walked outstandingly well again. We've got 3 Parapara Umu runners here against each other. Number 296 is Luke Jarvis on the inside. Next to him, Lucas Lambert and Rowan Lotsu on the outside. Lucas Lambert coming through the middle and is going to win the battle of the Parapara Umu Club here. So Lucas Lambert over Luke Jarvis and Roland Lotsu.
And just before we headed to that race, we did see Michaela Sola there on the screen, and she just improved in the second round of the women's shot put out to 10.82. We've just seen Lexi Maples there having her second put. I'm just waiting for the result to come up.
And 11.81 for Lucas Lambert's time in the third heat for 100 metres. It's Alice Taylor who's performed incredibly well tonight in the high jump, winning that with a height of 184. She had some misses along the way. She came in early at 162 and she got the clutch jumps, Reece, and she really has made significant strides tonight. Keely O'Hagan on the left there, 6th in the Commonwealth Games, finished 2nd.
Yeah, we're talking before about with Joss Hawkins running in the hurdles and having those young athletes coming and having an athlete like that to look up to. When you look at that podium there for the women's high jump, Imogen Skelton and Keely O'Hagan there, I'm sure it's a great honour for Alice Taylor to be able to stand on top of the dais ahead of those 2 of New Zealand's best jumpers over the last couple of years as well. So
yep.
She'll be really happy to be jumping against them and then actually perform so well. And Natalia Rankin-Chattar there. Oh no, we've just moved on from her. Natalia there through 14.95 just a couple of minutes ago to push out a little bit further. In the women's shot put, we did see Lexi Maples with her improvement to 11.55. And it was Caitlin Dior that we saw on the screen, number 252 from Christchurch Old Boys.
Here's Lisa Adams with her latest put.
Looks like that might have been 7.79 metres there for Caitlin Dior.
A number of excellent para-athletes here competing this afternoon, and about to get underway here in the 100 metres. Number 413, William Steadman, T36, Joshua Taylor on the inside in the T20 category, and over on the outside, Joshua Tia, T64.
Yeah, and William Steadman certainly here in the Capital Classic, a familiar face. In fact, for many watching athletics over the last few years in New Zealand, a dominant sprinter here in the para-athletics world in New Zealand. Good to see him still competing and running really well there.
12:72, understand his time. Have the women's open 100 metre heats shortly, and then the elite men and elite women to conclude our 100 metres. .329 at the shot, Lexi Maples. Finished third in the national championship last year with 13 and 21. Finished third at the Potts Classic a fortnight ago behind Natalie Rankin-Chittar over 12:48. .11:34 there at the shot. The field coming to the blocks for the first heat of the women's 100 metres. Georgia Whiteman on the inside, Neve Gedja, Kayla Fetty, Emily Jackson, Sasha Kilmister, Alexandra Domansky on the outside. So there's heat one of the Women Open. 2:63 Neve Gedja, but coming out of Michaela Fetty will take the win. Number 4:44, Michaela Fetty, running in her New Zealand Secondary Schools singlet, 12:59, just outside a seated time of 12:53, picking up Neve Gedja.
So just in the background there of that women's shot put, we see Lisa Adams throwing there. We do see the women's javelin throwers just starting to warm up. We saw Tori Peters. And that's due to kick off at 5:45.
And there are bonuses for meeting records, and Tori Peters set the meeting record last year with 60 and 51.
In second place, 11 metres 57, Hannah Collins.
So performance just popped up there on the board for Lisa Adams, 13 metres 63.
And medal ceremony taking place for the women's triple jump, which Anna Thompson took out over Hannah Collins and Charlotte Goldsmith. And again, an example here, Reese, of two youngsters with experience in the middle, which will benefit the youngsters up against Anna Thompson, our best exponent at the moment. On the blocks for the next heat of the Women's Open 100 metres. 3:08 is Verda Kestrup. Next to her, 3:54 Brian Nicholson. 4:53 Morgan Wilson. And 2:04 is Daniel Aitchison. See Michaela Fetty's run there of 12 and 59, continuing her excellent summer. Michaela finished second in the 200 over the for the New Zealand Secondary Schools at Inglewood. Very wet day. taking their marks down at the 100 metres. Inside out, Verta Kestrup, Brian Nicholson, Morgan Wilson, Daniel Atchison. And underway, Brian Nicholson out nicely from Verta Kestrup, Morgan Wilson and Daniel Atchison. Coming through, Brian Nicholson, Morgan Wilson closing off. Brian Nicholson to win from Morgan Wilson, Verta Kestrup and the para-athlete Daniel Atchison. 13.65 for Briar from Olympic.
And we have Lexi Maples from Christchurch Old Boys back into the circle. Currently in second place in the women's shot put. A good clean throw from her.
Got the elite men 100 metres coming up. The most interesting athlete for me tonight here, Reese, is Drew Rodriguez Chico, who was born in the Indian state of Goa, came to Australia. He was a pretty good footballer. Won the Stall Gift, the famous race, the handicap race in 2019. And last month he actually became eligible to run for New Zealand. He broke 21 seconds for 200 metres in Canberra last weekend. He's run a wind-assisted 10.27. So it'd be most interesting to see him here tonight. He'll be in lane 5, number 387, running for Auckland City. Cody Wilson next door to him, and on the other side is Tommy Tapuni, and both those young men have been running outstandingly well, in but behind people like Tian Welton, Idiosa and Ketia. Eddie, of course, is going to be leaving the sport at the end of the season. Tian not here tonight, but running outstandingly well recently with two 10.18s at the Potts Classic a fortnight ago.
We're just seeing Caitlin Dorr there on the screen. Another successful throw there in the shot put circle.
PBs for the 400 and the 200. He's there in lane 4. Bruno Rodriguez from Auckland City. Cody Wilson, the local, running extremely well. Hamish Gill from North Harbour Bay. Jack Saunders from Takaranga Athletics. And Hiyoko Yoniko from Queenstown. So very good.
Another throw from Shannon Murphy over there at the shot put. Now the elite men's 100 metres, Whitby Collegiate men's. So 387 there is Drew Rodriguez Chico. The inside of him, number 421 Tommy Tapuni, and Cody Wilson, number 448, local runner from Mana. Hamish Gill, number 266, is in lane number 7. That's where the action should come from, but it's an outstanding lineup. Looks like Ryan Noom not taking his place here in lane number 2. As they're under starters orders. And off. Did look like a false start, and indeed they've pulled it back. Javelin to get underway very shortly, and if the men's competition's anything to go by, where we had young competitors throwing some big personal bests, Reece, you'd have to suggest that the conditions should be good for Tori Peters tonight.
Absolutely, they are throwing with a slight breeze behind them, but as the javelin comes down to the centre of the field, that wind is swirling around as a little bit of a headwind. Should help hold that javelin up a little bit, maybe get them a little bit of extra distance here at Newtown Park.
So back behind the blocks for the men's elite 100 metres. Ben Lambert, number 309 off the inside from Paraparaumu. Lane 2 is a scratching, 356. Lane 3, Tommy Tapuni. Lane 4, I should say. Drew Rodriguez Chico next to him, then Cody Wilson, Hamish Gill. Zach Saunders in the bright orange and Hayato Yaneto on the outside. Now, Drew Rodriguez Chico has been disqualified after that false start. So they're underway this time. Cody Wilson through the middle and Tommy Tapuni a little bit closer in. Hamish Gill proving too quick, number 266 Hamish Gill, and he's beaten them quite comfortably too. Over Cody Wilson, Tommy Tapuni. And a great shame there, Reese, that we didn't get to see Drew Rodriguez Chico, and we found out there that actually it is quite as brutal when it comes to the elite, and it is a World Athletics Continental Tour Challenger event, and consequently he's been disqualified and we won't get to see him tonight.
Yeah, and we're about 10 races into the program this evening, and we're already 2 athletes disqualified and out, so unfortunately for them, not getting to complete their race. For those that have been watching throughout the season so far, the classics around the country as we've been going through, they'll be pleased to see a bodysuit there on Hamish Gill that has 2 sleeves on it. So James Preston, just a couple of weeks ago, trying to set the fashion trend for the season with a one-armed speed suit, courtesy of New Balance. Hasn't taken on. Hamish Gill going back to the normal 2-armed speed suit.
Well, 10:40 he's recorded tonight, so an outstanding time for Hamish Gill. We're in 10:58. In the prelim to the Pots, he ran second in the Pots Classic to Tian Welpton. He clocked a 10:59 that night. 10:40 today. Cody Wilson 10:65, Tommy Tapuni 10:71. Just third ahead of Hayato Yaneto. Ben Lambert on the inside 10:88. And Ryland Noom scratched there, but he's listed. He just didn't start in the lane that he was listed in, and unfortunately we haven't seen Drew tonight, but look out for him. Drew Rodriguez Chico now eligible to run for New Zealand, and another quick addition to our sprinting ranks. The elite women going to the blocks. 291 is Georgia Hulls in the middle with spear lanes on either side. Georgia Hulls through the middle.
Brooks Summerfield on the outside.
Brooks going well. Georgia Hulls to beat Brooks Summerfield. And Chao Collette possibly third. The Collette sisters were initially not amongst the entries, but good to see them here tonight, and adding spice to our 100 and 200 metre sprints. Georgia Hulls is down to race Rosie Elliott in the 200 metres later in the program. Looking forward to that clash. Georgia Hulls 11.65, Brooke Summerfield second 11.76, Shale Collette 11.84 ahead of Adira. Collette 12.05, sisters third and fourth. Marielle Venida, a young athlete on the rise at 12.05, finished fifth, and then Tamsin Harvey at 12.39. Livy Wilson did not start in that race. Tamsin Harvey recorded the same time as Shannon Geary, 12.39. 11.65 from Georgia Hulls. She won the Potts 100 metres in 11.69.
Unfortunately, a foul for Mario Mancancheva in the final round, but she is the competition winner with 14 metres and 95 from Lexi Maples at 11 metres 88, which was achieved in the last round. Snooker Masola and 11.19 was third. They're now competing in the F37 division. New Zealand Olympian Caitlin Dorr in the first inning.
Caitlin Dorr in the shot put. Lisa Adams leading that event, 14.73. Shannon Murphy, 8.54. Caitlin Dorr, 8.06. Foul on the last throw. Para athletes alongside the women's shot, Natalie Rankin-Chittar there, 14.95 with her third throw. Taking it out over Lexi Maples, 11.88, and Michaela Sola with 11.19. There's that women elite result, 11.65 for Georgia Hulls over Brooke Summerfield, 11.76. And the Collette sisters third and fourth, with Shale leading in there.
Over in the shot, our Olympic champion and world record holder, 37 division, Lisa Adams.
The Collette sisters prominent at the recent New Zealand secondary schools. Shale Collette winning the 100 metres there, beating Adira as she did tonight narrowly, and Adira Collette winning the 200 metres at the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championship in December at Inglewood.
Tension on the field. It shifts over to the Javelin runway again. We are up to our second competitor now. Actually, our third competitor in round 2. And that is Leela Woolman, representing New Zealand secondary schools. She had a throw of 32.19 in the first round. Tori Peters, first round, 58.91, getting it out there nice and big. And Mia Bartlett's currently in second after that first round from Athletics Wairarapa, 33 metres 96. It's unfortunately a foul throw there for Leela Woolman. And out there now, Mia Bartlett.
Men's under 20 mile is underway. Field of 5 there, Reece.
Yeah, and a good little field here. Luca Everett from Wellington Harriers, Daniel Sinclair from Athletics Wanganui. Looks like we just have one scratching from this. Let's see if we can just confirm who that is as they come around.
Daniel Sinclair is the junior mile on the back straight, and we will continue to keep it up to date with field from
So Luca Everett, Daniel Sinclair, Fenlon Bailey, William Larkin, Guy Lees, and Lorcan Rabeat. Minus one of them.
And looking at what they ran, many of them ran, of course, the Cook's Mile meeting last week, and a number of their performances were quite similar. It should be a very competitive race. 3.99 leading down. That is Daniel Sinclair. No mile time listed for him, but he ran 3:58, 1500 back in March.
It looks like Lorcan Rabeat there in second place, just behind him William Larkin, and followed there by Fenlon Bailey. So it looks like Luca Everett from Wellington Harriers might be the athlete not on the track. He's been running really well over the last couple of years as he's coming through the junior grades here in Wellington, so it'll be good to see him in this competition.
14.08 seconds. In second place, Masakai Turunga.
So Daniel Sinclair taking them down the side, opening up a handy break of about 5 metres here over Lorcan Rabeat, who ran a 4:24 mile at the Cook's Classic last week. Has his 18th birthday shortly. Lorcan won the Youth National Championship over the 2,000 metres last year. William Larkin lying in third spot in the orange singlet, and then Fenton Bailey and Guy Lees. stretched out further than I imagined here, Reece, with Daniel Sinclair really taking it to them.
Yeah, and certainly I think Luke Revitt could have slotted in there to create a little more competition, but Daniel Sinclair at the front, he's not mucking around, he's getting out there and going to have a crack there. Had a good mile time here at Newtown Park.
Conditions-wise, you're an experienced mile man. As you say, it does swirl a bit here, but would you be happy running under these conditions?
Yeah, actually, it's nice and warm. It would have been nice for a warm-up. It's not too hot. Nice little breeze there. It's not enough to interfere too much.
Looks to be running well within himself. With a lap to go, 3 minutes 20 passes through it. The Wanganui runner Daniel Sinclair. He's comfortably clear by the best part of about 25 metres here on Lorcan Rebet, and then battle might be for third between William Larkin and right on his shoulder now looking to take him on Fenton Bailey. Daniel Sinclair stretching out down the back. He's opened that gap up even further to about 40 metres on Lorcan Rebet. Daniel Sinclair is going to post a pretty decent mile time. Say he did run 3:58 1500 last year. He ran in the 3000 at the New Zealand Secondary Schools, finished 9th, running 8:39 here. He's really going to round off this race well, Reece.
Yeah, well, for a guy who's a young junior like this, who's running just around that 4 minute mark, just under 4 minutes, anything within that 4 minutes 20 range is a good performance here tonight, but obviously he's been out the front the last couple of laps by himself. He's kind of just walked it in there at the finish, just under 4 minutes 30.
Lorcan Rebet second, and Fenton Bailey through for third, ahead of William Larkin and Guy Lees. First mile time posted by Daniel Sinclair, 4:28.5. How tough is it backing up week to week for a mile for some of these guys, young fellas that ran a mile and they would have gone hard at the Cook's Classic last week?
To be honest, the way the Classics have actually set up, and I think the meet directors do a pretty good job of this, of these little blocks of races. So we're looking sometimes at a week's break, depending on sometimes a Saturday to Friday, sometimes there's a midweek event as well. But look, going back to back for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, what you tend to find is somewhere in that, you'll find that sweet spot. Very difficult with distance running to just say, hey, look, this week, 4 weeks in advance or 10 weeks in advance is going to be where I'm going to hit my peak. But that little block, 2 to 3 weeks, get in some races. Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes the wind's there, sometimes you're feeling good. And when it comes together, that's when the times come.
Javelin continues for the women, and now the under 20 women's mile about to get underway. And we've got 7 on the starting blocks. The starting line, to be precise. This is the Roger Robinson and Catherine Switzer under 20 women's mile, and they're underway.
Yeah, a little bit bigger field here for this junior women's mile, as we expect to see here at Newtown Park with the junior woman. A big crew here from Wellington Harriers. A lot of these girls train together. They race frequently down here at Newtown Park and at a lot of the local secondary schools events.
And Louise Brabham is leading out early. Jessica McKenzie on the outside in the red singlet. She didn't come up in the final field, but I'm pretty convinced that's her because she lives up the road. And she's the fastest thing on Korokoro Hill, I can tell you that.
And she's following the footsteps of Nick Willison, wearing that lower red strip from Lower Hutt. We've seen Nick don the red Lower Hutt strip a couple of times here on New Zealand soil.
Louise Braddon leading, Eliza Squire there right behind her. Jessica McKenzie over on the outside. Then we have over on the outside Phoebe Squire, Squire's sisters here.
And Kate Yu just in behind them, sitting in that 4th position.
Back of the pack is Lulu Davies.
Caleb Sola. Caleb, if you're still on the ground, do you want to come out?
So the one thing you can't get past when you've got an event like this with a little crowd in the stadium, parents watching, there's no harm in going out and trying to win a race like this. So there's a little bit of psychology going on here. People just waiting. I think it was just waiting here to see who's going to make the next move.
So Louise Braddon setting a pretty moderate tempo, just McKenzie right on her shoulder. And then the Wellington Harriers runners, 5 of them all in behind. And as you say, what has been a cagey race to date. Going around to complete 2 laps, and ticking through 2 minutes 30.
So we will see Jessica McKenzie just a little bit later on in the 800 as well.
Two laps to go. Louise Braddon still leads. Jessica McKenzie the outside, and moving forward Phoebe Squire, 3 wide around them. 409 tucked in behind is Eliza Squire, who's taking the shortest route and getting cover as well. It's the Roger Robinson and Catherine Switzer under 20 women's mile. Roger Robinson just next to us actually. He's part of the announcing crew and an extraordinary runner, writer. So tightly packed, they've dropped off a couple of the Wellington Harrier runners as they come into the front straight. It's about 500 metres left to go. And Phoebe Squire over on the outside of Louise Braddon. Jessica McKenzie now back on the inside. Eliza Squire out wider. As they get the bell, just off the back of the bunch is Kate Yu. So down to a field of 5 in terms of sorting out the placings. Louise Braddon just winding things up out of Wanganui. 409 the outside to Eliza Squire. Jessica McKenzie staying in touch with them. The other pair trying to tack on and stay on this bunch as they head down the back straight. Louise Braddon the inside. Eliza Squire right on her shoulder. Jessica McKenzie just biding her time in behind. Nearly got on heels there. Past the 200. Should be a decent finish, Reece.
Yeah, and the time's actually looking pretty good. They're just outside that 5:20 range.
So Eliza Squire's made the move across the top. Jess McKenzie's the one going with her. Louise Braddon dropping off now into the straight, and Jessica McKenzie's going to pour it on the outside. And she'll take up the running turning in. Jessica McKenzie, and she's got the strongest kick. Eliza Squire's going to hold down second. Louise Braddon trying to hold third over Phoebe Squire, but Jessica McKenzie, an impressive finishing kick, will win comfortably the women's under 20 mile. Over Eliza Squire, Louise Braddon third, ahead of Phoebe Squire.
And just over 30 seconds for that final 200 for Jessica there, so a very, very good finish.
Well, through the last few years with my boys at the same primary school as Jess, I've seen her win cross countries by embarrassing margins, but you can tell why. I've got a feeling, just talking to her father earlier, she probably won't back up in the 800. I think she'll be pretty satisfied with a night's work there.
We're seeing there on
In second place,
the screen as well, the
2, Lexi Maples.
men's shot put. We'll get some updates for you on that in just a minute.
57, Michaela Sola.
Jessica McKenzie's time for the mile was 5:21.97. Jessica out of Lower Hutt. Eliza Squire second, 5:24.42. Louise Braddon held third, 5:27.42 ahead of Phoebe Squire at 5:27.59. There it is for you. So Jessica McKenzie registers a mile time of 5:21.97. Just 15 years of age.
This is the senior 800 metres. All of the elite races are leading, and what's remarkable about it is the youth of most of the competitors. We've got only 3 competitors here over the age of 20. Luca Everett.
And while we're watching this javelin, you'll see up on the top corner of the screen the Māori Active logo up there, and you're watching through the Whakatā Māori YouTube channel. It's an opportunity for Mark and myself to be able to start to learn and use a little bit more athletics related today.
It's a good challenge for someone like myself, Reece, and a challenge I'm certainly prepared to undertake. And it's good to have the help of people from Whakatā Māori who endeavour to educate us in such things. Just that we see Tom Walsh getting ready for his competition. Tori Peters, 58.91 has remained her best, so she hasn't been able to nail an opportunity of another meeting record which she set last time. Leila Willman for the New Zealand secondary schools is lying third at the moment. She's completed her throws now with 35 and 40. Here we have the series for Tori, her first throw being her best. Alice Taylor's having quite a night after winning the high jump, 35 and 82. She's lying second at the moment. I have Mia Bartlett, fourth place getter at the moment, up next. In the Bodyhaven Sports Women's Javelin. That's Alice Taylor there with her latest throw. As I mentioned earlier, she was the junior heptathlon gold medalist in 2021. Incredible high jump tonight from Alice at 1:84. So we get ready for the 800 metres and a series of races.
All right, they're away and racing in the men's 800.
And I think we've got our answer as to where Luca Everett was. And looking at lining up here in this men's 800 metres.
Presented by John Fiso from the Fiso Group. Our winner tonight with a distance of 14 metres 73. The current Paralympic.
It does look like Max Caramanellis from Wellington Harry's there in the blue strip. He started off well. I also see University of Canterbury athlete there, Tom Mulai. He's now gone to the front.
8 metres 54, which is a New Zealand under-20 record. Shannon Murphy.
Tom Mulai, the leader. Max Caramanellis in second spot, and then James Ford lying third.
And Dominic Devlin just in behind them in the blue strip, long flowing here.
Dominic Devlin picking up a win recently back in December, the night of fives, coming off an Achilles tendon injury there. Hasn't raced since. Ran 1:49 back in 2019. Should be a good finish. Devlin making his move the outside.
Tom Mulai set a good pace here, setting up for these guys to launch off in this final 200 metres.
Dominic Devlin sweeping around, and James Ford trying to get onto his back.
Looks like Thomas Cowan coming through there in third place as well.
He chased James Ford home in the New Zealand Secondary Schools competition. James Ford coming over the top of Dominic Devlin here. And James Ford will take out the 800 metres from Dominic Devlin, and Thomas Cowan will finish third. And fourth will be Callum O'Keefe. Outstanding finish from young James Ford, the New Zealand under-18 champion from last year. He ran second to Dominic Devlin in that night of fives, but he's reversed that result tonight. Took out the New Zealand Secondary Schools title in December in a 152.15. He's clocked something similar tonight, Reece, 152.52. Devlin second, 153.05. Thomas Cowan third, 153.72. Then Callum O'Keefe, 153.77. And Max Karamanolis held on for fifth ahead of the pacemaker Tom Moulay.
Some excellent throwing from the whole field, but our top three, our medalists.
Yeah, I know on the screen we're still seeing those male 800 metre runners just getting their breath back. But certainly our attention is kind of focusing now onto the women's 800 that's starting to assemble down there on the track. It's really exciting to see Angela Petty back on the track.
This is the Newtown Cafe.
She's had some time away from competition, having her young baby last year, and just following her on social media, seeing the excitement from that, I go say athlete and coach, about being back on the track, not only for her personal best, but racing against some of her young athletes as well. So there she goes there, number 376, running in the University of Canterbury strip, and just under 2 minutes 10 just last week. And I think we're just going to see the seconds slowly drop off over the next few weeks leading to the national champs for Angie. Now, Holly Manning just inside her, number 327. She's also in very good form. Also inside them, Jennifer Hawke from Papakura.
Last time I saw Angie, she was commentating alongside me, the New Zealand Secondary Schools cross country, and she was talking about her build up to coming back to the track, and it seems like it is tracking quite well, as you have indicated. And great to see her out here against a quality field with those runners you mentioned, like Holly Manning, Rosa Twyford, and also Jennifer Hawke.
A strong mixed field again, youth and experience. And pretty fast, looks like close to 30 through the first 200 metres.
Quick first 200 metres here in the A Sports Women's 800 metres.
It's about 47, 48 seconds as they go around the 300 metre mark.
Holly Manning leading. Outside is Jenny Hawke. Angie Petty just tucked in behind them. Their number 370 is Stella Peerless, daughter of Peter Peerless. Good athlete into the 70s, early 80s.
So they've gone through in about 1:05, about 65 seconds through the first lap. So these front couple of athletes are going to start to really wind up as they hit the back straight.
Rosa Twyford sort of midfield there.
Mike Ritchie.
Holly Manning's really gone out hard in the back.
Mike Ritchie to the shot put.
Holly certainly has a pedigree as a distance runner, but capable of running really well over this 800 metre distance. She's certainly not slowing down as she hits that 200 metre mark.
Jenny Hawke trying to stay in touch. She's about 5 metres away. They've come right away on the remainder of the field. Holly Manning, 100 metres to go. Jenny Hawke staying in touch here, and she can make this interesting. Back in third place is Stella Peerless. Looks like she's got enough advantage here, Holly Manning. She is tying up. Jenny Hawke trying to close, but Holly Manning will take the 800 metres from Jenny Hawke. Stella Peerless, another good run for third. Angie Petty's going to finish off well here for fourth. Then we had Rosa Twyford, and Emma Ferguson was the next runner in. Another terrific performance from Holly Manning, the national champion from last year. She won the Potts Classic a fortnight ago in 2:05.52. She ran a 4:39 mile at the Cook's Gardens last week. She took silver there. She was 4th over the line, but 2 Australian athletes beat her in. So she's been busy, Reece, and she's posted 2:06.62.
Yeah, it's not a bad performance. Sometimes with the 800 you need someone to take it out just a little bit quicker. It's a little bit hard to drop a sub 210 when you're coming through in 65.
Jenny Hawkes time for second, 2:07.58. Stella Peerless, 2:09.74. She was second at the Potts Classic. She ran a touch slower today, but a good run nonetheless. And Angie Petty's got up for 4th in 2:10.60, and she's beaten Rosa Twyford home. Rosa beat her at Christchurch last weekend, so hopefully Angie's happy with a run 2:10.60 as she continues her comeback. Rosa Twyford in 5th spot. Next up, 800 metres open.
There you go on screen, just confirmation of that. Holly Manning, 2:06.62, followed by Jennifer Hawke, 2:07.58. Stella Peerless, 2:09.74.
Jackson Mackay here in lane 1. Runners alongside each other. In lane 2, 3:28, Zach Manning. 3:33, Joe Martin appears to be next to him. Field of 9, 2 sharing lane number 2.
Jackson Mackay and Zach Manning. The Black of Hastings on the inside, and then Travis Baylor front uprights on the middle. James Hercus from Wellington Scottish should be there.
So that's James Hercus on the inside there, just outside him Julian Baker from Wellington Harriers.
Javelin Willers, Joe Martin and Jacob Kilmister.
But it's the athlete with the wise head on his shoulders, 31-year-old Julian Baker from Wellington Harriers, going to take this young field through the first lap.
James Hercus laying second. Third there is James McClay. And back behind them is Jacob Kilmister as they get the bell. And next through, number 217, Travis Baylor. James Hercus has taken over.
So it was a big move as they went through that start-finish line at about 57, 58 seconds. So it's right on even pace for these leading guys. James Hercus, Julian Baker there, times of around about 1:56.
Hercus been taken here by Travis Baylor. Big last lap from Travis. He swept around to the lead from Fergus. Running into third is James McClay. Fergus not done though. Hercus, James Hercus kicking back. And James Hercus will win from Travis Baylor. And third to go by James McClay. Interesting last lap. Travis Baylor really taking it to James Hercus, but James had enough to respond in the straight.
To come out for their medal presentations. On the women's, that's Jessica McKenzie, Eliza Squire.
1:58.66 for James Hercus. Travis Baylor's time 1:59.22.
And that close finish went to James Hercus, the Wellington Scottish in 1:58.66 from Travis Baylor, from Continental 1:59.22.
I'm calling Daniel Sinclair, Lorcan Rabbit, Finland Bailey, on the men's under 20 mile, come out for their medals, please.
And there goes the big man himself in the balls of steel. Walsh shot, the t-shirt. Tom Walsh.
He's a regular here at the Capital Classic, and he's always a headline act. And the other thing, Reese, about Tom Walsh, he just never disappoints, ever.
Except for when he wears that, I call it an anti-run shirt, but when you can throw as far as Tom and you have the wonderful personality of Tom, you can get away with wearing any kind of shirt, can't you?
Indeed, I've actually got one of those. I'm a regular in it. Latest 800 metres underway. We'll keep our eye on that shot put for you. Another field of 9 for our latest 800 metres.
And it looks like a Cash Marks from Victoria University.
Setting a heck of a pace. Giving chase is Blake Mescal. Behind him, 2-3-0 is Toby Caro. Beside him in the white is Greg Austin as they get the bell. 3:37 is Sam McHale. Then Matthew Sinclair. Back of that bunch, Justin Cunningham looking to make some ground, but Cash Marks, comfortable lead down the back. He's gone out hard though. And he might be starting to pay for it now, coming off the back straight. Greg Austin looming up on the outside of Cash Marks as they turn for home. Akash has got a response, but Greg Austin kicking past. And Greg Austin from Palmerston North will take this out from Akash Marks, who just holds second. And for third, Toby Caro.
Right, now we're now going to present the medals for the men's under 20 mile. This is the Nick Willis under 20 mile, and the medals are going to be presented tonight by Nick's father, Richard. So great to have you here, Richard, representing Nick. In first place, in a time of 4 minutes 28, Daniel Sinclair. And in second place, Morgan Rabbit, 4 minutes 34. Excellent running of tonight's win. And from Nelson, third place, Finland Bailey. Well done.
Men's under 20 mile medals are being handed out, and it was the Nick Willis under 20 mile. Consequently, Nick's father, Richard, who's part of the on-track announcing team here, handing out the medals. We move to the women's 800 metres, the first of them.
On track now for the women's 800 metres open.
Here's a
great contrast there we see on the track. Poppy Healy, the 16-year-old from Wellington Harry, is lining up with Heather Walker from Wellington Scottish, one of our leading Masters runners out of Wellington. So one of the biggest fields we've got here today. 14 athletes on the track.
Shot put field being introduced to the crowd here at Newtown Park for the Team Ledger Harcourts Capital Classic 19th edition, while we also await the start of the women's 800 metres.
And safely underway there in this SAS Women's 800. So see the tall figure on the outside there from North Harbour, Charlotte Floodsmith-Ryan, as they cut across the track on the inside. She's going to drop into second position. Looks like Samantha Lascelles from Christchurch Haven might be the athlete there at the front.
And it is Samantha Lascelles who leads into the straight, moving forward over on the outside. Charlotte Floodsmith-Ryan.
Just behind them is Lucy Shannon from Auckland City. And looks like Rosaria Gibson, University of Canterbury athlete there in fourth place.
But we do have a great range of athletes in this race. I'm just heading over to
So 3-1-4 leading Samantha Lascelles into the back straight. Lucy Shannon giving chase.
Charlotte Floodsmith-Ryan still holding on their strong third position. 200 metres remaining. They've gone through in about 1 minute 41.
Samantha Lascelles looks to be travelling pretty well though. She's opened up a gap now of about 10 or 12 metres here coming to the corner. Lucy Shannon trying to hold down second. Charlotte Floodsmith-Ryan looking to close off on her. But Samantha Lascelles out of Christchurch Haven will take this 800 metres comfortably from Lucy Shannon, and Charlotte Floodsmith-Ryan third. Winning time 2 minutes 15.16 for Samantha. Lucy with 2:18.28 second. Charlotte third, 2:18.77. Poppy Healy has finished fourth in 2:19.
And into the circle for his first round throw there, Tom Walsh, number 438.
He's got out a good one, which the crowd appreciate.
Like a good opening throw there from Tom Walsh in the shot put. He's looking for a new meet record tonight.
So I'm not sure that 20 metre marker is going to give us much indication of what's going on. It's not next to a line. We'll have to wait for that result to come up.
21 metres, 21, 21,
Do have 21.21 is that put, and that's a new meet record.
Just like that.
Some of that bonus prize pool, which he'll be really happy about.
That's what Tom comes for, isn't it? The prize pool.
800 presentation.
Gets a piece of that. I think there's 4,000 to be distributed for those who can break meet records, and he has done that. Last year 21.01. This year puts 20 centimetres on that. Here comes throw from Nick Palmer, or the put from Nick Palmer, who won the Pops Classic with an 18.74. He threw a personal best 19.16 at the pre-Pops meet. And Nick
First place in a very good 5 minutes 21. Jessica McKenzie from Lower Hutt.
is the 6th biggest shot put thrower of all time in New Zealand.
And in second place from Wellington, Eliza Squire.
17.56 there for Nick Palmer.
This is Aidan Harvey, the Australian shot put champion. He's got a personal best of 1936, which he threw in 2018. And good to have him here up against Tom and Nick in company tonight.
In the World Cross Country Championships for his age group, and he tells me he first ran for England in the World Cross Country in 1966. So a great longevity of performance.
1789 there for Aidan Harvey.
We've got plenty of action going on in the stadium at the moment, so on the far side.
So much going on at the moment. We haven't had anything from the triple jump that I saw, but Aori is here as part of the triple jump, and he's at 15.49. The Australian national champion. But Abuka Okpala has recorded 15.56 to go to the lead. Abuka's won about 4 national titles here in New Zealand.
And the throw we just watched just before, 15 metres 50 for Liam Nichuk-Wolf.
Now, incidentally, those performances at the triple jump comfortably clear of the meet record. So there'll be more of the prize pool to be split there, but it depends on who can win the competition. Abuka Okpala with his second jump 15.56, and Aori from Australia at 15.49, currently lying second. Ao has got a best of 16.28. Bearing in mind the New Zealand record is 16.22. So the Australian champion, he's got a fight on his hands with Abuka Okpala, who has been the 9th best New Zealand triple jumper of all time, and eyed him down as a best of 15.53. If that's accurate, then 15.56 is best. He has recorded that tonight. Daniel Salupo there at the shot put, and now the first of our 200 metres.
It looks like a good start there from lane 3, Asher Pettingrill. But the runner there from Hastings, Rylan Noom. He bit of a nasty spill there at the finish line, but might have just dipped under that 22 mark again. He's going to stay down there on the track and get his breath. Good support there from his 200 metre competitors.
Ryland's been racing well. He finished 3rd at the Potts Classic, and he's the New Zealand Secondary School Senior Champion, the run of 22.77.
And looks like a shot just short of the 21 metre mark there for Tom. Just measuring things now. He's got a smile on his face. Just confirmation there with the results, 21.96 to 21.99.
Ryland will be wrapped with that time, sub 22.
20.62 confirmation down there at the throw circle. And a no throw there for Nick Palmer.
It's the time of the Capital Classic where we need about 4 sets of eyes here, Reece. The men's high jump also underway. Triple jump taking place for the men in the back straight, and the shot put, of course, featuring Tom Walsh. And the 200's underway as well. We'll try and keep you up to date with everything as best we possibly can. Rylan Noom 21.96 or sub 22 there. Hayato Unito also breaking 22 seconds, and Asher Pettengill-Brand third 22.30, just ahead of Tyrone Trego. See Josh Ledger there in competition, but the Team Ledger sponsor. Here comes the next of the 200 metres. And number 280 James Henson coming through in his New Zealand Secondary School singlet.
Saw him running well just a little bit earlier in the 100-metre hurdles. Just before we slipped back over to that 200, we saw Liam Nitchuk-Wolf making an attempt in the men's shot put.
He's been taking giant strides, produced a big personal best. It was just a week ago.
16.04 there for Liam.
Liam finished third at the Cook's Classic last weekend. Big personal best for him, 17.24. To try and emulate that, he'd finished second to Nick Palmer at the Pots with 16.11, and then the pre-Pots was his prior personal best, 16.34. 17.24 last weekend, and we'll see if he can improve on what he's done here so far.
I think this is a number of para-athletes, William Steadman, Jackson Woodley and Joshua Taylor.
Should be an exciting battle coming up in the elite women's 200 between Georgia Hulls and Rosie Elliott, drawn alongside each other. Expect a good battle there. Georgia, of course, the national champion. Nathaniel Salupo with his latest put over at the shot.
And another athlete of the constant stream that comes out of the Tahi Bay Children's Athletics Club. Just talking with a former New Zealand junior shot put champion's father this afternoon, Lisa Laisalanoa, her father, and talking about her days at the Capital Classic and coming through the ranks from the Tahi Bay Children's Club.
Outstanding.
One of our top junior discus throwers back in the day.
Stella Peerless. Stella, if you're still in the stadium, can you come into
Jared Neighbours there in his Christchurch Old Boys singlet. He's been busy, started out in the Javelin earlier. A number of our competitors tonight active in a number of events, particularly those, of course, who compete in decathlons and heptathlons. Tom Walsh coming up now for his third round put. He's already set a new meeting record with 21.21 in round one. All good audio from Tom, but generally his body language will tell you straight away he's pretty experienced. He knows when it comes out.
Well, if it's not over 21 these days, Tom's walking back immediately to think about the next throw.
21.12, so not too far away. Of course, he's been a World Championship winner outdoors, twice World Indoors Champion, twice third in the Olympics, double Commonwealth Games winner as well. Parapara Umu athlete is leading Luke Jarvis in this 200 metres. William Shedman coming through in second spot. Some of our para athletes. Jackson Woolley and Josh Taylor also in that 200 metre heat.
Some fantastic running tonight in a very large field. This race sponsored by Ace Sports.
Luke Jarvis time 25.06, William Steadman 25.55, Jackson Woolley third 26.70 and Josh Taylor 28.41.
Harcourts, our principal naming sponsor tonight. So thank you very much for all your support, Mike, of athletics in Wellington. In first place tonight in the elite women's 800 metres in a time of 2:06.62, Holly Manning from Hastings.
Australian competitor Aidan Harvey, the Australian champion, in his latest throw at the shot.
And in third place, Stella Peerless.
And also action, of course, from the men's high jump. Now, they're currently at 189 there. And there is a number who are clear. Rafe Kulo had passed previous distances. He's clear. Hugo Jones clear. That was his second height. Levi Murdoch the same. Jean Rapina also clear. So is Marty Poduch, who came in at this height. Adam Stack, he came in at 184. He's now clear over 189. First attempt at both.
So with me down here,
the 200 metre events underway. And it's Shannon Geary out of Hastings.
And Grace Winooski.
so nice win there to Shannon Geary.
Wisniewski from New Zealand Secondary Schools, just outside here in lane 7.
Women's 800 elite tonight. Defended her title from last year. Holly's got a pretty good record on this track now, won a national under 20 title.
Shannon's time 25:39. Grace Wisniewski second 26:12. Michaela Fitty, another good run from her at 26:20 ahead of Charlotte Goldsmith.
Halfway stage in the separate competition for also stripping the main record to 21 metres 21. Donna Hanning bringing a record for that time of 13:25 in the para class. We're going into the class, and of course there'll be in reverse order to last the throw in the men's competition.
And for those of you at home that can't quite see the flags and the tents down here at the track and what's happening with this wind, we're lining up for some pretty ideal conditions for these New Zealand 3,000 metre championships coming up very soon. The sun is still out. It's nice and warm but not too hot. The wind is starting to drop. There's some shade down at the what would be called the eastern side, the eastern end of the track. Might be the western side of the track. And we've got these 200 metre runners starting in the sun and come down to the shaded, slightly windy finish line.
Georgia Whiteman there on the outside. Inside her, Sydney Evans Tabota. Maggie Jones is number 299. Neve Goody is 263. 271 Holly Gray. We saw her in the hurdles earlier. And Alice Taylor, her blocks look to be vacant, but she's been pretty busy tonight, including her outstanding success in the high jump. As they go to the blocks, the latest 200 metres women's.
Good evening, section heat 2 of the women's open 200.
Neve G'day coming through in the middle, and the Parapara Umu on the inside of her is Holly Gray. And winding up down the middle, Maggie Jones is going to finish the strongest of all. Maggie Jones to win from Neve G'day. And in third, Holly Gray.
We're going to do the medal presentation now for the Bodyhaven Women's Javelin.
Maggie Jones, another of the
Our winner here tonight.
New Zealand secondary
the women's
schools
javelin
team,
tonight with a
and
great
running
59 metres 12 from Hamilton, Tori Peters.
in her New Zealand secondary schools singlet.
So Tori wins the women's javelin tonight, the Bodyhaven women's javelin, and in second place, Alice Taylor.
Alice about to get on the podium for her second placing in the javelin after taking out the high jump, so that's why she was missing from the 200.
Yeah, it's the life of a heptathlete, isn't it?
She's busier than we are.
Yeah, rushing from event to event. Yeah, big thanks to the iFilm team. They've got cameras all around the stadium here, making sure we switch between the events as our star athletes line up, and we don't want to miss any of the action on the track or on the field.
Latest put there from Aidan Harvey, the Australia champion, over to take on the likes of Tom Walsh and Nick Palmer, but Tom is in supreme form and set a meeting record with his first throw, first put, 21-21. Just looking for an update on the shot put, which isn't coming through just at the moment, but no throw there from Nick. Third of the women's 200 metres now underway, field of 5.
200 underway. If I run the curve in this beautiful Wellington weather, look at the weather we had for the biggest concert.
295 leading here, and that is Holly James, who looks comfortable.
That looks like Holly James.
And she will win comfortably from Nadine Horton and Brian
So
Nicholson.
down here is our Commonwealth Games where Tori Peters takes out the javelin title again tonight. Not quite what she threw last year, only just a little bit off, but it was her first comp of the season. Because I know you're building things, Tori. Tell us how it was.
Yeah, it's always good to come to Wellington and compete here. As we know, the winds always prove to be really challenging for most events, and especially for long years. So, yeah, really happy with tonight and yeah, Wellington put on a bit of a show for us with the weather, which was nice with the sunshine. And,
Fourth put there from Tom, and two to come for him. Comfortable leader there in the men's shot put.
What are you targeting?
Can tell you that Tori Peters' best winning throw in the javelin tonight was 59-12, the national champion and record holder. So 59-12 for Tori, unable to match her meet record last year, which was just a touch over 60, and her personal best beyond 62. But pretty happy with her performance tonight nonetheless, building into a big season.
I suppose, helping her out, so it's awesome to have her out there throwing the women's comp and seeing the improvement.
Well, congratulations again, and we'll see you back here in 4 weeks.
Jared Neighbours
Tony.
with his next round put.
Move on to the first of the exciting elite men's 200 metres. We have in the elite men's 200 we have Angus Lyver in 1, Cody Wilson in 3, Bruce Rodriguez Chico from Auckland in 4, Hamish Gill in 5.
Now the elite men's 200 metres is about to go, and Drew Rodriguez Chico was unfortunately disqualified out of the 100 metres with a false start, but we'll get to see him here in lane 4. Angus Lyver on the inside, Cody Wilson 3, Drew Rodriguez Chico in 4, then Hamish Gill, who was an emphatic winner
And just to bring you up to speed at the men's
in
triple
the
jump, a really exciting competition into the 5th round.
100 metres. Tommy Tapuni out in 7, Zach Saunders in 8. Looks like Hamish Moore is missing there in lane number 6. Under starters' orders. And they're underway. Tommy Tapuni with a fast beginning out in lane number 7's already quickly picked up Zach Saunders. Here comes Drew Rodriguez Chico coming through on the inside. Right there too is Hamish Gill and Cody Wilson on the inside. Hamish Gill looking for the double, and he will win it from Drew Rodriguez Chico. Tommy Tapuni, Cody Wilson and Zach Saunders. Good finish, but the double for Hamish Gill, 100, 200 metres. Good battle there with the Drew Rodriguez Chico.
Yeah, good battle all the way to the line for those two. Would have been great to see them battle all the way down the 100 metre straight in that earlier 100 if it wasn't for that disqualification.
Drew Rodriguez Chico, if you're not familiar with him, he's recently become eligible for New Zealand. He was living in Australia. He was born in the Indian state of Goa. He went to Australia. He was playing a high level of football, but he won the Stall Gift handicap race back in 2019. Now he is running for New Zealand from December. 21.18 Hamish Gill. Drew ran sub 22 in Canberra last weekend, 21.24 tonight. Tom Tapuni third, 21.41 ahead of Cody Wilson. Now we have the elite women's 200 metres. Should be an outstanding race between national champion Georgia Hulls, Rosie Elliott, and of course Brooke Summerfield ran extremely well earlier, and the Collette sisters there as well, who are two of the rising stars of women's sprinting. Should be a fascinating contest.
Back in the short circle, Tom Walsh is going to have his fifth round cut. Leads the competition with a meet record. Nick Palmer is currently holding second, 5 centimetres ahead of our
Latest from the triple jump, the Australian champion Ao Ore has just jumped 15.60, 4 centimetres ahead of Abuka Okpala, and of course they are both well in advance of the former meet record here. Here's Tom. Didn't look that happy on the release.
Around about that 21 metre mark again.
Underway here in the elite women's, and Rosie Elliott's coming out fast. Georgia Hulls on the inside of her though is running the bend strongly and will just level up on the inside of Rosie Elliott, and Brooke Summerfield is closer, and Georgia Hulls just in front. Rosie Elliott won't go away, of course, the 400 metre national champion. Georgia Hulls just holding from Rosie Elliott. It's the battle we expected, and a good one it was, and Brooke Summerfield home in third.
Yeah, good challenge on the outside from Rosie Elliott. She certainly pushed Georgia all the way to the line. It was looking as though it might go the other way with about 40 metres to go, but good strong finish there from Georgia.
Rosie, as we know, very, very strong, and she has had a very good season to date as she builds into it. Georgia Hulls, the national champion, taking us out, went to the World Championships last year, as did Rosie, of course, over the 400 metres. Rosie last week ran 52.16 over the 400 at Cook's Gardens, and she's in good form herself. There's only 5 100ths of a second separating them. Georgia 23.61 takes the double. Rosie Elliott 23.66. Brooke Summerfield, another good run from her tonight, 24.38 ahead of the Collette sisters, Shael Heading and Adira, and Marielle Venita, another young promising sprinter at the back of a terrific field.
And once again, the focus moves to our distance races. And for the men, it's the Toru Mano Mita, the men's 3,000 metres. We've got the men's B race up first before we'll shift gear into the women's national championship over 3,000 metres, the 4x4 relays, and then the men's national 3,000 metre championships.
Nathaniel Salupo with his latest, not happy with that, walks out the front, finished third at the Pots a fortnight ago. His best was set at the Solar Power meet 2021. Of course, Solar Power meet on tomorrow. The throws meet in Lower Hutton, but these throwers will be backing up there. Just over at the triple jump. Still AOR 1560. Beakrok Pala 1556, just 4 centimetres in it, and looks like one throw to go. One jump to go, I should say.
And for some of you watching at home, you will have seen as we start to see that men's B 3,000 metre field lining up. Some pretty fast faces in there, and the likes of Seamus Kane from Wellington Scottish, Luke Cotter from Whippets Running, George Varney from Fielding Moa. There's a bunch of runners on here capable of running sub 8:30. The reason they're in the B race is we've got a field of 21, all well under 8 minutes 30 for the A race this evening. So it's going to be some good competitive 3,000 metre running here.
And a recent number of the athletes in both the senior men's and senior women's 3,000 metre New Zealand Championship tonight, of course, are in the team for the New Zealand Cross Country coming up in a fortnight at Bathurst on February the 18th.
Yeah, don't remind me. I would love to be there watching. Unfortunately, I'm going to be stuck here. To be honest, enjoying myself. It is going to be the Wellington Round the Bays weekend. I'm going to be on the microphone at the finish line there around the Bays, so I will be enjoying myself, but my thoughts will be with the New Zealand Cross Country team. I know what an awesome experience it is to run at the World Cross Country Champs. Can't beat it being almost the home championships. It's been, what, 33 years since we've had since the World Cross Country Championships were here in New Zealand. Oh, wow. 34 years now. 1989 in Auckland. But Bathurst in Australia, certainly opportunity for a full team and a really good competitive New Zealand cross country team heading away there. So yeah, great opportunity to see a couple of our star cross country runners lining up tonight in the 3,000 metres.
That was Nick Palmer with a no put there at his last throw. This is Tom's last.
And the crowd giving him a big hand from the stands as he comes up for, I believe this is his final round throw.
It is. The shot put doesn't seem to be updating, but we know that he's comfortably in front. I'd like to get some final results for.
Looking at that might be his fourth tonight out over 21 metres if it records correctly.
It's a good series of throws for Tom. As I say, he's regular here at the Capital Classic, and he never disappoints. Also coming to a conclusion, the back straight is the triple jump. We've got our 3,000 metres coming up. Of course, that'll be about 8.5 minutes, as you mentioned there. So we might be able to get the final couple of triple jumpers, because it's very close between Beakrok Pala, who's been a 4 times national champion of New Zealand, and AOR of Australia, who's currently leading with 1560, but Okpala jumped 15 and 56.
Tommy Tapuni and Cody Wilson. Cody, do you want to come over?
Don't forget we've got Max Atwell down on the track as well. He's just pulled out of a jump there in the men's high jump.
I feel like we should do that one day. I say we
So the B race 3,000 metres underway with a field around 20 athletes for this.
Showing us what you can do. Thanks, Alec McMahon, for the excellent commentary on every day.
Now, Ethan Gower is going to be the third to last jumper over there at the triple jump. He's currently lying third with a best of 13.87, which was in his 5th round. And then
Daniel Prescott leads the 3,000 metres.
We might be able to take in the last two performances of the two who are leading.
So on the 3,000 metres, we've got Daniel Prescott from Selwyn, the youngster. He's got multiple-time Wellington champion Seamus Kane on his outside from Wellington Scottish as he moves to the front. Callum Stewart from Wellington Harriers on the outside there as well in the blue strip. A number of these athletes will be looking for a time around that 8:20, 8:25 kind of range. But it is Seamus Kane leading from Callum Stewart. The youngster there, Daniel Prescott.
Leader now is Seamus Kane from Wellington Scottish. Known as a very strong front runner. Obviously was impatient with the early pace and he's really moving along.
So Ethan Gow has improved his distance in the last round of the triple jump, 13.91. And we'll have Bukarok Pala and Ao Orr to finish. Now Ao is about to jump now if we are able to get to the triple jump. He's the Australian national champion and he's run through the pit there, so that was at an anti-climax, but his best will be 15.60, which...
So as the camera pans back down to the track, seeing those 3,000 metre runners go past, Seamus Kane from Wellington Scottish. They went through 800 and then 1K in looking as though a pace probably around that 8:15 mark. He's really pushing it in this first couple of laps. Be interesting to see if he can hold that pace out there by himself. Certainly capable of a good 3,000 metre performance. And we can see just in behind him Luke Cotter from Whitbit's Running Club.
Let's go Max and Finn, come on guys. Good time, come on, that was 3:30 through there. Go with him Maxie.
And it does look like Darian Sururi from Hastings currently there in third place. So we've got Kane, Cotter and Sururi leading out this men's B 3,000 metres. They call it the B 3,000 metres, just happens to be the first of two races, all part of the New Zealand Senior 3,000 metre Championships. And I'm not sure what's going through Seamus Kane's head there, but he's slowed down significantly in the last 150 metres, let that field get back on him. And he's dropped back into second place and cruising along there now, just in behind Luke Cotter from Whippet's Running Club. And the athlete there from Takapuna, Nick Davies, youngster there, also running well, tucked in about fourth position.
The triple jump has concluded. Bukarok Pala passing in his last round. Ao Orr, we saw him foul his last round, but his fourth jump of 15.60 will be enough to win by 4 centimetres from a Bukarok Pala. 15.56. I believe that's Buka's personal best after a 15.53. There is the official result. And Ao, the Australian champion, best of 16.28, tonight 15.60, and they're both well in excess of the meeting record, which was set in 2005 of 14.87. Scott Clements. So some outstanding triple jumping here tonight at the 19th Team Ledger Harcourts Capital Classic.
So still Luke Cotter on the track there. leading from Darian Susuri. And looks like George Varney from Fielding Moa in the P Naughty strip there. He's moved his way up into third place. Just behind him still the Takapuna runner there, Nick Davies.
2 laps left to run in the 3,000 metres, the B event, with the New Zealand Championship event coming up off the back of this, and of course then the women's 3,000 metre New Zealand Championship.
Here we present the medals for the Team Ledger Harcourts Elite Men's 200 metres as well. And in first place in the 200 metres, repeating his 100 metres win, good double tonight for Hamish Gill in the time of 21.18 seconds. The medals again being presented by Andrew Walker.
So his first 4 seem to have sorted themselves out.
And in second place in the time of 21.24 from Auckland, Drew Rodriguez Chico.
600 metres remaining for that lead pack. Still led there by Luke Cotter.
Darian Saruri in the trail, George Varney third, Nick Davies fourth, and they've sorted themselves out. So well into the front straight, second to last time, 500 metres to left to run. Luke Cotter's been setting the pace, but moving up on his shoulder here is Darian Saruri, 4:06, and he will take over with just on a lap left to run. Darian Saruri into the lead from Luke Cotter, and they start to open up a wee bit of a gap here. On number 431, George Varney, and Nick Davies on his back. Darren Saruri attacking into the back straight, but Luke Cotter not letting him get clear. Nick Davies moving to third. Ahead of George Varney down the back. Coming around lapped runners here. But Darian's kicked hard and has put about 20 metres on Luke Cotter. And he looks strong into the home straight, Darian Saruri. He'll be a convincing winner in the end. Luke Cotter's going to hold down second after sitting the pace. George Varney third. He managed to shake off Nick Davies, who made a move on him in the back straight. Nick will have to be content with fourth.
And we've got 8:28.48 from Luke Cotter, 8:32.71.
They've broken 8:30 there, 8:28.48 for Darian Saruri from Hastings, 8:32.73 Luke Cotter, and George Varney third, 8:34.18. Reece, you've mentioned 21 in the men's 3,000 metre New Zealand Championship tonight, and it's quite a deep field as well. What's it like running in that sort of company when a good number of them should be in for a long way?
Yeah, look, 3,000 metres is long enough where the size of the field, especially when we're talking about 20 athletes, it shouldn't matter too much. That first 50 metres or so as they start to kind of figure things out. Just got to be a little bit careful. People will pretty much slot into kind of spots within 200 metres, and it should kind of work its way through from there. So they should be okay. To be honest, I think it's going to be about 600 to go. Julian Oakley, Eric Speakman, even Carsten Vesti, New Zealand Secondary Schools athlete. There's some wheels in this field, and I think we're going to see a pretty fast last 600 metres coming home for these national titles.
very close racing. Third place
the
time of 11:48.4.
men's hammer throw underway too, as you will have seen. Anthony Nobilo, 66.72. He's had a massive season. Alexander Hewitt in the New Zealand Secondary Schools singlet, and I believe he is throwing the full weight hammer tonight too, 43.45. And Damien Wells, very good hammer thrower out of Australia, is up against Anthony Nobilo, and that should be a pretty good contest. We'll keep you in touch with that and amongst our 3,000 metres.
Oh, what a brilliant view we've got there from the camera, face to face with those hammer throwers. But we're successfully underway in our women's 3,000 metre national championship. We've got defending champion Laura Nagel. She's leading us out. I think, no, Annika Grogan. Let's get our numbers correct.
And Rebecca Green in behind her.
Coming off an excellent race last week. Laura Nagel there in third place. Tilly Hollier just sitting there in, I think, fourth now.
And 3:42, Hannah Miller off the back of her. Of course, we know Hannah over more distance. She had an incredible 2022, winning the marathon, the half marathon, the 10K track, the 10K road.
Oh, you missed out the bronze medal in the New Zealand Cross Country Champs.
She had time for that, did she? Extraordinary. And of course, she is part of the team for the World Cross Country Championships in a fortnight in Bathurst.
And rounding out our podium tonight, Team Harcourts, Team Ledger Harcourts Elite Women's 200 metres in a time of 24.38 for Tauranga Brooke Summerfield. Medals presented by the Athletics Wellington Chairman Andrew Walton. Thank you, Andrew. Well done, ladies. Great sprinting tonight.
So it's Annika Grogan leading in the initial stages of the 3,000 metre national championship. Rebecca Green right in behind her. Laura Nagel, defending champ, currently lying third. Tilly Hollier through on the inside. Next to her then is Hannah Miller, just moving past her shoulder. The diminutive figure there, long hair of Bo Ritchie, who has an extraordinary array of underage championships to her credit.
So this is one of the big races.
Yeah, I think one athlete we haven't mentioned yet, another one of our World Cross Country representatives currently there in sixth position, Emily Rowan from Egmont Athletics. She's been running very, very well in the last 12 months, and a deserved selection there in that World Cross Country team.
So Nobilo after the first round of the hammer throw, 66.72. Now he's chasing Philip Jensen's meet record of 67.43. That's a 20-year-old record, and he's not far off that. He threw close to it in round one. Damien Wells, the Oceania under-20 champion, his first round throw, 52.51. And young Alexander Hewitt, 43.45. Into the front straight they come again on this occasion, with Annika Grogan still leading, Rebecca Green, Hannah Miller third, Laura Nagel fourth, then Hilly Tollier.
And look, we were just talking before about the finish that we might see in this men's race coming up a little bit later, but with Rebecca Green setting a New Zealand resident mile record of 4:32 at Cook's Gardens last week, she's certainly going to be dangerous coming down to the finish, as well as Laura Nagel just on her shoulder. So I think we're going to see a good battle here for the medals in the women's race as well.
It was Anne Ordain's record she broke from 1983 in that mile. One of the long-standing records in New Zealand athletics. Annika Grogan taking them down the back straight. Rebecca Green sitting comfortably in behind. Laura Nagel third. Tilly Hollier's moved up to fourth. Then Hannah Miller. Behind her, Emily Rowan. Bo Ritchie behind her. Bo currently lying in seventh spot. Eighth is Bridget Dennehy. Back of that pack, Emma Perrin. 4.5 minutes in. Annika Grogan leads from Rebecca Green. Laura Nagel third. Tilly Hollier fourth. Emily Ryan up to 5th. Followed then by Hannah Miller. Bo Ritchie hanging on to the back of the pack. Dropping off a touch now is Bridget Dennehy. Rebecca Green wants to put a bit more pace into this. She's whipped out and around Anika Grogan down the back straight, so Rebecca Green makes a move. Laura Nagel's seen that, starts to improve as well around Anika Grogan. Hilly Tollier looking to hang in there, and Emily Rowan. They've dropped off Hannah Miller for now, but we know Hannah's got the strength. And Bo Ritchie on the back of Hannah Miller as the field starts to break up.
And Anika Grogan, the New Zealand steeplechase champ in 2022, so we know she's got the strength over 3,000 metres.
Rebecca Green, the new pace setter. Laura Nagel has stayed right with her, and they've opened up a gap of about 8 metres back to Anika Grogan and Tilly Hollier. Emily Ryan will be 5th. They'll go through 5:45. This gap of about 20 metres now back to Hannah Miller and Bo Ritchie behind her. And the next one through is Emma Perrin.
Yeah, great to see that battle just back in the field there. Hannah Miller, 5-time New Zealand champion or 4-time New Zealand champion in 2022, with the 16-year-old Bo Ritchie just on her shoulder as they go down the back straight. That's great competition there. But it's Rebecca Green as they went through the 2,000 metre mark there, I think in just under 6 minutes 20, so on about 9 minutes 30 pace, but she has picked it up over the last 600 metres, so we might be looking at a good solid time, maybe around that 9 minute 20 mark.
Leads by about 10 metres from Laura Nagel. Laura had a terrific 2022, and she's looking to stay in touch. Anika Grogan and Tilly Hollier battling out 3rd and 4th at the moment, with Emily Ryan not too far away. Then there's a gap of about 40 metres back to Hannah Miller and Bo Ritchie.
And look, Emily Rowan there in 5th place is looking very strong with 2 laps remaining. She certainly looks as though she's got her eyes on that bronze medal.
Rebecca Green opening up now by about 20 metres. Part of the World Cross Country team for Bathurst, as is Hannah Miller and Anika Grogan. Bo Ritchie part of the under-20 cross country team, a fortnight away. But Rebecca Green looking to continue her outstanding form that got her the national mile record and title last week, looking to add the 3,000 metre title to that. And Laura Nagel desperately seeking to defend the title she won last year. Battle for 3rd, Anika Grogan, and on the outside of her, Tilly Hollier. Hollier looking to improve past Anika now, as Reese predicted. Emily Rowan's got designs on the bronze medal as well. Bell lap for Rebecca Green, margin about 20 metres on Laura Nagel, who's not done. Tilly Hollier now a clear 3rd from Anika Grogan and Emily Rowan. They hear the bell now.
Emily Rowan now going around into that 4th position, but it's a long way into that bronze. Rebecca Green, Laura Nagel working hard and starting to pull back a few metres as they head down the back straight. It's down to about 15 metres now.
So Laura's giving it everything down the back straight, but she probably needs Rebecca Green to tire. She's certainly closing down the side.
10 metres.
Laura Nagel's really picked up here. Rebecca Green will hear it coming.
It's defending New Zealand 3,000 metre champion Laura Nagel as she goes past the recently crowned New Zealand resident mile record holder Rebecca Green at Cook's Gardens last week, but a brilliant last lap to come from 30 metres down. Laura Nagel.
Incredible run from Laura Nagel to defend her national 3,000 metre title.
A patient run there from Laura as Rebecca set that tough pace in the second kilometre.
Tilly Hollier third, Emily Rowan will be fourth, then Anika Grogan.
And that's a big run for Tilly Hollier there as well. I believe that might be her first senior national medal. We'll just have to confirm that. But a very strong run for her to come through and take that bronze medal ahead of Emily Rowan.
Hannah Miller will be sixth ahead of Bo Ritchie.
So there we go. That's five or six of our New Zealand representatives. 5 New Zealand representatives that are heading off to World Cross Country Champs in 2 weeks.
Emma Perrin finishing now, and behind her was Jess Wright.
And with the new
and Esther George
concept going on now the last couple of years at the World Cross Country Champs with the mixed relay that they do run, that's opened up that door for those extra athletes. So we've got Annika Grogan and Rebecca Green will go in there in that mixed relay, along with Sam Tanner and Eric Speakman.
Lauren Bruce in the hammer throw circle, one of our leading throwing athletes. Great to have Lauren here again tonight. She's a regular, and a regular too at the solar power throws. But Laura Nagel, what an incredible time she's had. 30-year-old now, defending champion after winning last year. She also won the 1500 metres and the mile and the 5,000 in 2022. Of course, Rebecca Green won the mile this year, 2023, last week at Cook's Gardens, and now takes the silver in the 3,000 metres tonight, after at one stage having probably a 20-metre lead.
Well, I'm going to have to go back and look at that coverage after the meet finishes tonight, because I saw Rebecca Green come through in about 8:10, and I was predicting from that about a 70-second last lap that she was going to run somewhere around that 9:20. Laura Nagel, who came from 30 metres back, well, she ran 9:19.
Wow.
So she's come home in about, I'm going to say, somewhere in the range of about 65 or 66 seconds for that final 400 metres. She certainly earned that national championship in that last 400 metres. A brilliant run there from Laura.
Rebecca Green's time of 9:19.89 is only just not far outside her best of 9:17 set in Ireland last July. So she's got to be happy with her performance. Just on the night, it hasn't been quite enough. Laura Nagel, her best was set 9 years ago in Boston with 9:01. But the resurgence in Laura Nagel's career has been exceptional. 2022 was outstanding for her, and now 2023 has started brilliantly as well.
Oh, and we look at the number of athletes there. We've talked about it in past years. There's been some concern about it in New Zealand. We lose a lot of athletes. I say lose. A lot of our athletes take that opportunity to go offshore to America to run in the collegiate system. In that race alone, you've got Laura Nagel and Hannah Miller, Annika Grogan, Rebecca Green. These athletes, Emily Rowan, these athletes have gone away. They've produced some amazing results in the collegiate system. And a number of them that are now coming back to compete on New Zealand soil and take out these national championships, create some great competition in New Zealand. It's great to see. Julian Oakley, you see there on the screen, another one of those athletes. Went away to the States, ran well. He's come back and he runs even better. And national titles, New Zealand representation on the line for him as well.
He's another that's been resurgent around the age of 30. Just looking to the women's hammer, Lexi Maples is leading that at the moment, 55.24 over Elizabeth Hewitt, 49.86, and Diani Shepherd-Oates at 51.55. Lauren Bruce just 49.30 in her opening throw, and she fouled her second. We clearly know she's capable of a lot further than that, the New Zealand champion and record holder with beyond 73 metres. We'll see what she can produce in the later rounds here. But looking through this 3,000 metre field, Julian Oakley you've mentioned, but it looks an outstanding field with the likes, very experienced likes of Eric Speakman, Oliver Chignall, and then the young brigade runners like Carson Vesti and Christian Duval, who could make this very interesting.
Oh, look, it is exciting to see the youngsters like Carsten coming through. They are running some amazing times for their age. Christian Duval as well. Not so sure what's happening in Auckland. They all seem to be coming from Auckland at the moment, but these young male runners, great to see them stepping up and running in the senior men's 3,000 metre championship. I will just correct myself before. I was talking about Tilly Hollier, maybe that was her first senior medal in a running event. I'm corrected. Last week she got bronze in the New Zealand Senior Women's Mile Championship. So a great week of running for Tilly Hollier there. 2 New Zealand bronze medals in the mile and the 3,000 metres back-to-back. Great running there from the Whippets Running Project athlete.
Quick update on the men's high jump. Marty Padush is leading there. He's over 199, first attempt. He came in at 189, cleared that first attempt, then 194 first attempt, now 199. Mate out of the Hill City University Athletic. Rafe Kulo is also over 199 at his second attempt after clearing first up 189, 194. And Adam Stack's over 199 as well, but he had a first up miss at 199.
You were asking a little bit earlier about some of these athletes backing up week after week. Certainly Rose running the mile last week at the at Cook's Gardens. I think Tilly's a perfect example of that. Over the last 3 weeks she's run an 800 metre personal best, a mile personal best to take out the bronze medal at the National Mile Championships, and now a 3,000 metre personal best to take out a bronze medal here. So 3 weeks back to back. It'll be interesting to see what she does over the next couple of weeks.
Outstanding. Men's hammer throw. Anthony Nobilo 67.48 with his second throw, and that is a new meeting record. He's broken a 20-year meeting record there. Philip Jensen back in 2003, 67.43. Anthony Nobilo's added 5 centimetres to that, so he'll be dipping into the prize pool as well for a meeting record, and it continues a terrific season for Anthony, who's really starting to put some distance on his personal bests. Damien Wells out of Australia, he's the Oceania under 20 champion, and his best so far 52 and 51. And Alexander Hewitt, young thrower of promise, and he is using the full weight hammer this evening, I believe. So he's going to use the senior implement, and he finished second in the New Zealand secondary schools, and also won the silver medal, the Youth Nationals last year.
Which is a new event on the athletes calendar. It's now a World Champs level. We put it on here tonight to promote it.
Heath Abbott.
Looks like we've got a New Zealand Secret Schools team.
Throwing there. I haven't got him on the leaderboard at all, so I'm not sure what he's registered. Heath. And we will keep an eye out with interest on Lauren Bruce and her next throw. Cora Fruttinger, Syme in the circle.
Right, I'm over here at the men's hammer throw. That was for course, and I think it's very good news because we have a competition record in the men's division. Anthony Nobilo from North Harbour has just thrown 67.48.
So we're just hearing about a huge throw there from Anthony Nobilo. Just over the loudspeaker.
43, here you go. Record 40 over the men's hammer throw. Well done to Anthony Nobilo from North Harbour.
And I think we have 3 teams in the 4x400 metre relay. In lane 2 we have secondary schools academy.
Looks like the relay up next.
So we have seen some clips out on the track of those that men's A field starting to warm up, but we do have the 4x1 or 4x400 metre relay. And it's an opportunity for our secondary schools teams to line up and have some competition. It's not often that get a chance to get teams of athletes from around the country to be able to actually pull them together to be able to compete and run a relay together. So in this case we've got a mixed 4x400, 2 New Zealand secondary schools teams and a Victoria University team.
And underway in the 4x400 relay, sponsored by Mediterranean Foods. Michaela Fitty out on the outside, leading off for the first of the New Zealand secondary schools teams. And the other one led off by Grace Wisniewski, who's made a strong move early. And the Victoria University team led off by Antonia Martin. Grace Wisniewski running a strong first 400 metres. It's about to hand it over to
James Hansen, I believe, who we saw in the hurdles earlier.
Indeed. They've changed the team, or else she's handed it to the wrong guy. But he was down to run for the first team. But he is running very strongly, and they are the best part of 80 metres in front of the other New Zealand secondary schools team and the Victoria University team.
Wait, is it mixed? Oh, that's what it said.
The high jump continuing. Ben Walker, his competition is over at 199, so his successful clearance was 194.
Looks like Maggie Jones, third leg for that leading secondary schools team.
The one that just...
And that remarkably is Bo Ritchie taking the baton after finishing, I think, 7th in the 3,000 metres. Only a matter of minutes ago, she's taken the baton for the New Zealand secondary schools team and running 400 metres. .468 for Victoria University is Max Tan. So Bo Ritchie about to hand over to Lucas Martin. Meanwhile, it's Asha Pettengill-Brown who's going to bring home the winning New Zealand secondary schools team, 4x400, and in a time of around 3:53. 466, Zach Milne. And coming home for the second New Zealand secondary schools team is Lucas Martin. And Victoria University team about to come into the front straight with Zach carrying the baton.
This is Zach Milne from Victoria University, and the announcers are going to give us a big cheer because they're both former staff members of Victoria University. Well done, DEW.
What are the nerves like right now, Reece, for the men in the 3,000 metre senior championship over the back? They've waited for a fair while.
Yeah, look, in this kind of field, there's no easy way to come into a race like this, because I think every runner in this race knows that it's going to be hard fought out there. This field is, to be honest, it's one of the best 3,000 metre national championship fields that I've seen.
Lauren Bruce here in the hammer circle, and she just hasn't got a rhythm tonight. She's managed to pull out of that.
So it might be one of the most impressive things we see tonight, once she knows that it's not going well. To slow that hammer down and do it without creating a foul is quite impressive.
This is her third throw. And it's gone well out of bounds, so Lauren's just not quite connecting tonight. She did register a 49.30, which obviously we know is a long, long way below her best, and 2 fouls since then. She currently sits in 4th place. Lexi Maples pulled out a 55.24 and then has fouled her next 2 throws.
Eric Speakman, who's national class runner, who's been doing some racing occasionally lately, but also finishing very strongly. He was second in the national mile.
3,000 metre national championship about to get underway, and the men's high jump continuing along with the hammer throws.
Back to the United States is Craig Lautenschlager. Also plenty of rising young runners, as I've seen in a few more minutes. William Little from Nashville has been being coached by Sam McClellan. Oscar Inchterbein.
Marty Badouche is successfully over his next height, and delighted with it, the Hill City athlete.
Those I haven't mentioned so far, I think,
He produced a personal best with 2:06 in the jumps to music at Hara, and he's pretty delighted.
And there we go on the track, back to the men's 3,000 metres safely underway. They've got a waterfall start, which means those athletes on the outside run around the cones for the first 100 metres. We see Oscar Inchterbein in the University of Canterbury strip leading that outside pack. On the inside we have Eric Speakman in the yellow and black of Napier, Julian Oakley in the Tauranga strip. Christchurch Avon athlete just behind them, Cameron Avery. That's your first 4 athletes there. They're all off to World Cross in 2 weeks' time, so they've, just like I said before, they're going to sort themselves out pretty quick in a line. That front pack, they're not going to muck around. They know what's on the line here. National championships. Eric Speakman silver in this race in 2022 in a time of 8:01. He was right behind Julian Oakley. They had a brilliant battle, these first two, in 2022, and look, it's shaping up. They're going to have the same battle again today.
Quick update on that high jump. That was Marty Padouche, third attempt 203, clearing that. Adam Stack also got over 203 at his second attempt. Rafe Kulo was over at his first attempt, so Rafe leading from Adam Stack, Marty Padouche, and Ben Walker has just missed his final attempt at 203. We've got 3 left in the high jump, and we've got 3 clear leaders in the 3,000 metres, with Eric Speakman leading Julian Oakley early. And
yeah, it's great to see Cameron Avery up there and taking it to these guys as well. He's got that selection for World Cross Country, and look, he's obviously proving to the selectors that he's capable of running with these guys out the front. Ollie Chignell leading that second pack. Ollie in his own right, a very, very accomplished runner on the track. 27.52 he's run over 10,000 metres. He's got a personal best of 7.52 over 3,000, so he's just biding his time. He knows those guys are going to come back to him in a couple of laps.
In terms of the pace for our young promising athletes like Christian Duval and Carson Vesti, do they just need to hang off this and run their own race?
Yeah, absolutely. The field, you can see the way that field is stretching out now. You've got a field that's going to be somewhere between about probably 750, 755 at the front guys, through to these back guys in the range of about 820. If these young guys hang in, they're all going to get pulled through for some big PBs. Certainly the likes of Carson Vesti and Christian Duval, they want closer to 8 minutes. And some of the other runners in there will be hoping for those personal bests around that 8:10, 8:15. But Eric Speakman still doing the work out the front. He's got a little rivalry going there with Julian Oakley. He finished second to him here in the 3,000 in 2022, and then capped off the year finishing second to him here on this track in the 10,000 metres just back in November. So it's great to actually see these top two athletes going back-to-back, head-to-head, race after race after race for these national championships. And in the case of Eric and Julian, Eric's run 13.22 over 5k, Julian's run 13.29. These guys are some of the best 3,000 metre, 5,000 metre runners New Zealand's ever had. They're both in the top 20 all time over 3,000 and 5,000. It's awesome to see Cameron Avery still sticking on the back of these guys as they're coming through. That's through 3.5 laps now. We're going to get you a split.
Christian Duval is leading up the pack now. He's moved through into 4th place ahead there of Ollie Chignell.
So we'll call out the time as they're going through. They're just about to hit the 1,500 metre mark. They're going through in 3:58, 3:59 through 1,500 metres. They're sitting right on that 8-minute pace. They ran 8 minutes exactly last year.
Christian Duval leading up that second division with Ollie Chignell, and sticking with them is Craig Lattenslager, who's the non-travelling reserve for the cross-country team.
Craig, another one of those athletes, just like Eric and Julian out the front. He's headed over to the States. He's run and been competitive in the States, run some really good times. He's come back to New Zealand and running really well as well. Another one of those young athletes coming through that really has earned that World Cross Country selection.
4.5 minutes in here, Eric Speakman and Julian Oakley. They've opened up a handy break now on Cameron Avery. Bit of pain etched on Cameron's face.
Yeah, look, I think we've got 2 sub-4-minute milers out the front there. Cameron Avery was always going to struggle to hold on as long as he'd like. But look, Ollie Chignell, I think, he knows he's not quite in the form that Julian and Eric are at the front. He's doing what he needs to do. He will drag a few of those athletes through to pick up Cameron Avery probably in the next lap or so, and then the race is going to be on for that bronze medal.
So Speakman and Oakley now on their own. They've opened up about 50 metres on Cameron Avery, and slowly but surely Ollie Chignell and Christian Duval and Craig Lattenslager are closing off on them as well.
I'm just trying to pick them out at the moment as well. We've got Russell Green, who is our World Cross Country reserve, in the field there, and Matthew Taylor. I think they're in the strip in the black and green from North Harbour Bay. He's another one of our World Cross Country team. This field's so competitive that we've got World Cross Country representatives that are sitting back in about 8th position because we've got so many youngsters coming through and our top runners out the front.
William Little's just tacked on to that little body of 4 with Chignell, Duval, Lautenschlager and Little now just tucked through on the inside of them, and they're closing down on Avery. Up front, Julian Oakley, in the form of his life, I think it's fair to say, Reece, now opening up a break on Eric Speakman.
Oh, absolutely. Three national titles last year. He's been to World Indoors in 2018 over 3,000 metres. These two athletes on their day can go head to head all the way to the line, but I think what we're seeing here, Julian Oakley is in very, very good form.
And has opened up a big lead now on Eric Speakman to be thinking about trying to hold down second. Lautenschlager's moved into third here with Chignell. Duval hanging in there with them. They move past Cameron Avery and William Little also trying to stay on the back of that bunch. But Julian Oakley in the front straight, and he does look strong.
Look, and I think Julian's just showing the form that he's in. Eric Speakman ran 4:03 last week for a mile. He's actually in really good shape, not quite in the form that he'd like to be in, but coming up for World Cross Country Relay in a couple of weeks, being in 4:03 mile shape is pretty good, heading off to represent New Zealand. But Julian Oakley, as he starts to pull away, he's going to be pretty happy with this time. He's got a personal best over 3,000 of 7 minutes 44. He's going to be just outside that tonight, but he's not slowing down. He's got this gold medal wrapped up, but he's going as fast as he can. I haven't even looked at the 3,000 metre record here. 7:53, maybe that's lined up for him. Rory Hunter set that just a couple of years ago, 2019.
Chignell and Duval about to move past Speakman here. Lautenschlager trying to hang in there, and Little as well. Julian Oakley sprinting to another national title here in the front straight, to the warm applause of those here at Newtown Park. Julian Oakley, the 3,000 metre New Zealand champion for 2023. Chignell to second. Lautenschlager coming fast. Speakman coming again. Lautenschlager to second. Speakman picked himself up. He'll gain bronze. Chignell fourth. Duval in fifth spot, then Little.
Matthew Taylor, I see the World Cross Country rep coming through there with a strong last 100 metres as well. Great run from Lautenschlager in that last 600 metres to come through 4 or 5 athletes and take that silver medal. Eric Speakman, he was never out at the end, but just didn't quite have enough. Lautenschlager looked a bit fresher in that last 50 metres.
And good runs from some of our younger athletes there, most notably Christian Duval, fifth.
Yeah, once again, New Zealand 3,000 metre champs dragged some athletes through for some, I'm sure, if we went through the list, some amazing personal bests for some of these youngsters.
So we've had Julian Oakley defend his crown on the 3,000 metres, and we've had Laura Nagel defend her crown on the 3,000 metres. And the son of Dame Susan Devoy, Julian Oakley, adds another national title to his stunning resume.
I want to jump on a microphone and run down onto the track. I interviewed Julian Oakley here on the bank in 2011 at the New Zealand Secondary Schools Championships. He had just won the Secondary Schools 1,500 metre champs. He was heading off to the States on a scholarship. And I talked to him then about what his plans were, what his goals were. He just wanted to go over to the States and run as fast as he can. Look, I don't think we were thinking about how many titles you're going to win when you come back to New Zealand in 12 years, 13 years' time. But look, it's great to see kind of that circle coming around, seeing him here at the secondary schools 12 years ago, and now back here at Newtown Park, back-to-back 3,000 metre titles.
Phenomenal effort from Julian Oakley, and he's powered away from a quality field. Lautenschlager second, Speakman picked himself up third. He went with Oakley for as long as he could through the first half of the race.
Look at that good finish there from Christian Duval as well. He was a patient youngster in that race. When you come into a field like this, it is it can be a little bit one of those things. You want to go with those front guys. You want to see if you can run with them. But he sat back in that second pack. He let Ollie do the work in that second pack, and he sat in there. And look, he's come through and run really, really well. Be interesting to see the time and see how it stacks up against 8:09. I believe that's a personal best for Christian.
Yes, that would be right. I've got 8:10 as his best, so
yeah, I was thinking it was about 8:10, 8:11.
So he probably has broken his personal best there. Oakley with 7:55.49. He might be a bit peeved. He's a couple of seconds outside Rory Hunter's meeting record.
And we were just talking about William Little before as well. I believe that's probably a personal best for William at 8:10.
And Matthew Taylor into 7th, part of that cross-country team for the Worlds in a fortnight, as you mentioned. And rounding out the top 10 there, Oscar Inkster Baines. Men's high jump continues as we look down there. Ronan Kodai, another of our promising young athletes, 8-16.
And just in case Robbie Johnson's watching down in Otago, one of New Zealand's best ever distance running exponents, one of the fastest New Zealanders ever over 10,000 metres, to show that the standard hasn't changed a lot. I outdipped Robbie Johnson for a bronze medal here at the National 3,000 metre Championships up in Auckland. We ran 8:10 and 8:11 for 3rd and 4th that day, or I think it might have been Carl Jackson slipped in there as well. So look, those times, that 4th, 5th position, about the same as we were running 20 years ago. But look, the quality of that field out the front there, I couldn't have run with them even in my day.
Back to the men's high jump. Now the 3 competitors remaining have all missed twice at 2:07. There's Murray Poduch in shot there, so he's missed twice at this height. Adam Stack, I thought, relatively close at one attempt over 2:07, but he's missed twice. And Rafe Kulo, who would win on countback at this stage, has also missed twice. And Mate about to go for his final attempt at 2 metres and 7.
Yeah, it's almost a fitting end to the meeting tonight to have our men's high jump actually rounding it up after the excitement of that 3,000.
And this would be a personal best, but his night is done. But he has performed well. He jumped 2:06 at the Howrah meet, the jumps to music, finishing 3rd there. Hamish Kerr, of course, winning that night over Adam Stack. Adam Stack still live. He'll be next to jump.
Yeah, look, and you mentioned the jumps to music. I think we have to give props to the team up there and the work they've done. Not only the organisers behind the jumps to music, but the athletes as well. The athletes have got behind that event. They've made it something quite special in the jumping community in New Zealand. And look, we talk about the records that have been set here at the Capital Classic, some of the amazing jumping we've seen over the last couple of years. But I think the credit for the performances we see here have to go to something like the Jumps for Music, creating that community, building an event like they have. These athletes who jump to music, and then we see them down here a week or two later jumping personal bests and really performing well.
Adam Stack seeking the assistance of the crowd gathered down by the high jump. This would equal his personal best. He jumped 2:07 to win the Oceania Championships last year. He is the under-20 national champion. Oh, it looked like he had its measure, but he has brought it down, and that means that he will be 2nd on countback, and Rafe Kalu will take out the competition, and we'll see if he does make an attempt, his 3rd attempt at 2 metres 7. So check out the latest on the hammer throw. Elizabeth Hewitt pulled out a 55.35 to head off Lexi Maples, 55 and 24. Diani Shepherd Oates, 51 and 55, and Lauren Bruce currently 4th at 49.30.
So I think just a point to note as well, I was mentioning about the performances over time of the 3,000 metre champs. Just had a little note put in my ear that Robbie Johnson still holds the New Zealand 3,000 metre championship record. It's also almost identical to the meet record here for the Capital Classic. So I might have to go and have a little word in Julian Oakley's ear and tell him he's going to have to be back in 2024. He's going to have to come back and try and set, well, we'll confirm whether it's going to be the New Zealand 3,000 metre champs back here, but come back here and try and set this record and maybe take out that New Zealand champs record as well.
Outstanding stuff. Now, Elizabeth Hewitt, I think that's a significant improvement on her personal best. I had it down at 52 and 73, and she has topped that very comfortably and currently leads the standings after 3 rounds. They're into their 4th round at the moment, and she's just 18, out of the Mana Club. So an excellent effort from Elizabeth. Be interesting to see now whether Lexi Maples or Deani Shepherd-Oates, or we know Lauren Bruce can pull out something in the vicinity of 70 plus, but she just doesn't seem to be in a rhythm so far tonight, with 2 fouls after that 49-metre throw. Tegan Ashley's just fouled, and Lauren Bruce is about to step up into the circle.
Look, it's another opportunity while we're waiting for the last couple of field events as we're wrapping up. Just a big thanks to Whakatā Māori and Māori Active, the YouTube channel that you guys are watching it through, for supporting athletics, making it possible for us to have a live stream for the Capital Classic here tonight. Obviously a big thanks to Team Ledger and their continued support.
Team Ledger in their 10th season of sponsoring the Capital Classic, and it's the 19th season overall for this meeting as Lauren Bruce comes into the Hammer Circle with a record of 74 and 61. She's the Oceania record holder. Hasn't been working for her tonight, but looks to be slight improvement beyond the 50-metre mark, but we know she's capable of 20 metres more than that.
We see there in the back of the shot there, Shaka Solar. The orange hat and solar power shirt. A number of these throwers here tonight. In fact, I pretty much guess that nearly every single one of them will be out competing at the Solar Power Classic, out at the Solar Power throwing facility out in the Lower Hut tomorrow. So yeah, great to see him here. He's got some athletes out there competing, yeah, we'll be looking forward to seeing some results from these athletes as well, backing up tomorrow with the Solar Power meet.
Well, I can tell you that Lauren Bruce actually threw 63.43 there to go to the top of the leaderboard, because I was actually looking at the 50-metre mark for the javelin, working back the other way. It was in fact beyond the 60-metre mark. So she has improved significantly there, 63.43, and Lauren Bruce is leading the hammer after 4 rounds from Elizabeth Hewitt and Lexi Maples. And Shaka has done wonderful things for not just throwers, just kids in the community down there in the Lower Hut.
Well, and to have a throwing facility just near White's Line East, is which where Nick Willis and the Willis family grew up, and you've got that running family there, and yet White's Line East is better known for the throwing these days. So no, it's great work from Shaka and the work he's done out there. Look, every time I look out at the field and I see all those lines out there, I think it reminds me of what the officials have done here setting the facility up. They were prepared for the wind. They could have thrown the javelin and the shot put and the discus from any direction. And so we've got a whole lot of lines out there on the field in preparation for that. And look, it's perfect conditions out there right now for the hammer throwers.
Lexi Maples next up.
So right around about that 55-metre mark again.
Lexi 55.24 with her opening throw, and then fouled the next 2. Lexi's finished 3rd in the last 2 national championships. She finished 2nd in the Potts Classic behind Lauren Bruce with the 57.38. 54 and 63. That 55.38 takes her to 2nd now. Elizabeth Hewitt looking to respond to that after being pushed back to third. And she's got out another decent throw too, Elizabeth. A breakthrough competition for her.
My camera's really bad though.
53.83, the latest there for Elizabeth. Leaves her in third place now behind Lexi and Lauren, who both improved in round number 4. Back to the men's competitors. Heath Abbott. Heath's had, unfortunately, a series of fouls tonight. Hasn't registered a throw. Cora Fuddinger sign about to throw. 16 years old. Through 42.38 in the first round. Damien Wells awaiting his return to the circle from Australia, Temora, New South Wales. Under 20 Oceania champion from last year. Alexander Hewitt to head in before him. Hewitt's fourth throw. He won a silver in the Youth Nationals last year. Finished second in the New Zealand Secondary Schools competition prior to Christmas. And he's stepping up with the senior implement today. 43.24, just a touch below his opening throw mark. Australian Damien Wells will be next. His compatriot narrowly took out the triple jump earlier in a meeting record. AOR, congratulations to him. Anthony Nobilo leading this competition. Sorry, Reese with 67.48, a new meeting record.
Yeah, and as we talk about those meeting records that have gone down, we mentioned earlier about the support from Team Ledger and the money that's been put up. That prize pool for those athletes. It's partly what gets athletes like Tom Walsh and Lauren Bruce and that coming along and competing at the Capital Classic. They know they can help support their training, their ongoing competition if they can come here and pick up some money.
55.02 was his previous throw. He has steadily improved with each throw, Damien Wells. We'll get a measure on this in a moment, and then Anthony Nobilo will step forward to see if he can improve on his 67.48. He's having a terrific season through 67.50 at the Pots. Produced an outstanding series of throws in this coming season. He's 4 times national champ. His personal best sitting at 68.95, which he set at Pakaranga last month. And he's in that sort of form again this evening. Damien Wells' latest 53.16. Things going awry there for Anthony. Things can go quite badly in the hammer race, which is why I've never been enticed.
Yeah, and I think it shows. We were talking before about Lauren when she was able to pull out and successfully restart her her throw. Shows how it can go if you get off kilter.
Hopefully no injury out of that for Anthony. He's our best, so can go wrong for the best there if you get off balance when you're swinging a metal ball around like that. But Anthony continues his excellent season, and I'm sure he'll be delighted to dip into the prize pool.
While we're waiting for the next throw to come up, I know they are getting ready to do the presentations down there on the track.
Julian Oakley about to be crowned as the New Zealand 3,000 metre champion. But in third place, Eric Speakman, outstanding performance from him to pick himself up when he looked done out of a medal. Anya Dunlop Brown was the previous thrower there in the Hamilton. She and in the hammer throw out of Mana Anya. Her lead-off throw was 35 and 51. That's been her best to date. I run it to Philly next up. And Julian Oakley just been given his medal for the 3,000 metres.
Otherwise, Tony's going to take them for himself. Or shall we do a recall?
From the lower hut, I run it to Philly. Her fifth throw, best to date, 40 and 54 her previous, and is currently lying 7th. Next up we should have Michaela Solar from the New Zealand Secondary Schools team. She threw 42.39 in round 4. To be sitting in 6th place. She won the Youth National Championship in 2022 through 44.04 at Cook's Gardens. Good release there from Michaela. She may have been able to improve on her best there. .42.39 for Michaela Solar, so leaves her in 6th spot, but does improve her best on the night. Tegan Ashley next up out of Athletics Tardy. She opened with 46.38 finished fifth at the Nationals, 48 and 32. She's been a medalist at junior level in the hammer. Track action is done for the evening. A couple of medal presentations left to go, and the women's and men's hammer throw drawing to a conclusion, the 19th edition of the Team Ledger Harcourts Capital Classic. Looking forward to seeing if Lauren Bruce can improve on her 63.43 that she pulled out in the previous round. Tegan Ashley's fifth throw, 45.45. Here comes Lauren. National champion and record holder. Oceania record holder. Looked like a good throw there from Lauren. There was a good deal of height on it, and it seemed to sail further than anything she's put out there tonight, so we'll get the official measurement through in a moment. 65.34, so that's her best to date after a shaky start by her standards.
We were talking before about the jumps to music and the community that's been built around that event within the jump community. You know, we see just, in fact, going behind the screen there, we see those runners as they're kind of just heading around the track. That looks like almost the entire men's 3,000 metre field is out warming down around the track together, and I think that shows within the athletics community in New Zealand. Look, these guys train together. They meet up at these races. They race hard, race together on the track, and then afterwards have a bit of a chat. I'm sure we'll see a few of these athletes having a nice laugh as well, enjoying themselves out at the dinner after the event tonight. I'm sure we'll see the same with the throwers down there as well.
Yeah. Diani Shepherd-Oates there just losing her balance at the end of that throw, walking out the front, so that'll be a foul for her fifth attempt. Elizabeth Hewitt and Lexi Maples to complete this round.
But yeah, as those 3,000 metre runners are running around the track, for those that are interested in seeing a number of those athletes back in action, there will be live coverage of the World Cross Country Championships in Bathurst in 2 weeks. It's over the weekend of the 18th and 19th of February in Australia. We've got a huge team going from New Zealand. I believe it possibly is the biggest team we've ever sent to a World Cross Country Championships. I think we had 15 athletes out here tonight running in that 3,000 metre championship races that will be competing for New Zealand at the World Cross Country Championships. So great opportunity to be able to get online, check out the World Cross Country feed. Yes, there's going to be some Africans running. It's going to be tough for those boys out there, but yeah, great to have a huge team heading over. I believe there's a team of about 28 athletes from Australia. They've got a full team selected as well. So great opportunity for Oceania to kind of run up against the best distance runners in the world.
Again, evidence of the camaraderie between runners here, with a joke shared by Rebecca Green second and Laura Nagel first. And Rebecca would be disappointed because she had a big lead in that and she wanted to win the 3,000 metres to go with the mile, but it was an undeniable finish from Laura Nagel to defend her title in the 3,000.
Oh, look, and great running from both of them. Rebecca took it to Laura. She did what she could. She's in the form of her life. A New Zealand resident record over a mile last week at 4:32 at Cook's Gardens. She probably backed herself to be able to hold on there, but Laura Nagel, look, you can't count out the wily Laura Nagel. So yeah, kudos to her. Brilliant finish. There's not much Rebecca could do once Laura came around on that final bend.
foul there for Elizabeth Hewitt in the 5th round, but she's thrown beyond her best tonight already with 55 and 35. Lexi Maples 54-15 that prior throw. She remains in 2nd spot, and Lauren Bruce with that 65-34 has been the best tonight. Heath Abbott in the circle looking to register his first throw tonight, and I think he has. So good to see Heath on the board after a series of fouls in the hammer cage. How long do you warm down for after a 3,000 metres race, or are they just enjoying themselves?
Oh, to be honest, they're enjoying themselves. It's a nice leisurely jog around the track there, but look, especially these guys that have got a lot more events coming up this season, especially the World Cross Country athletes that are peaking. So over the next 2 weeks, they need to stay in fine form. Look, these guys will probably be getting a good 30-40 minute warm down. It's a beautiful night out here in Wellington. The sun's gone down. There's not a breath of wind. I want to say it's about 22, 23 degrees.
We've been extraordinarily lucky. Nikora Whatahinga Syme there in the circle, but we've been extremely lucky with the weather. It's been volatile, but nothing obviously like what's been happening in the north. And there's been showers this week intermittently, but it's been like walking through a warm bath most of the time. Quite breezy a little earlier on, but that died away as you said, so probably couldn't have had a better night given the nature of some of the weather patterns in the last week or two.
Yeah, I think we've been pretty lucky here at Newtown Park the last couple of years. Some notorious wind patterns here at Newtown Park, but certainly with the New Zealand 10,000 metre champs in November, the conditions were pretty good. Look, Capital Classic here, we've had some really, really nice nights here over the last few years. Fingers crossed it keeps going.
Indeed, and of course we do have the National Championships here for the next 2 years, so we're only a month away from 2023 Nationals here at Newtown Park.
Yeah, look, and on that note, I know he's not going to be able to hear this. He might go back and listen to the playback afterwards, just to make sure we were doing a good job here on the commentary. But Tony Rogers and the work that he's done continues to do for this event and making sure the Capital Classic goes off. We're seeing him walking across the field. He's got another job to do. He's out there talking with Todd Stevens, Alan Stevens, stalwarts in the running scene in Wellington. But the work Tony's done behind the scenes to make this event come off again successfully. The encouragement he gives to those elite athletes to get here and perform. So it's great to see him continuing to do it.
It's an incredible undertaking as we see Damien Wells, the Australian, come in for his 5th throw, his best to date at 55.02. Oceania under-20 champion from last year. Yes, it's an epic performance from anyone, I think, to put on a meet like this, but I know how hard Tony works, and during the year we've been doing a podcast. I better give it a bit of a push called Chew the Fat, and pleased to say that this year we've had Julian Oakley as a guest and Laura Nagel as a guest, so great to see them come through tonight, obviously, and other people that we've seen on the track like Hannah Miller, who've been happy to give us their time and tell us about their backstory, and each and every one of them has a fascinating backstory, and in particular with Julian and Laura, is around that sort of 30-year-old mark, just shows what can be achieved. Perhaps when, at a time where others might think that you'd be sliding down the hill, they're actually at the peak of their powers with more to come.
Yeah, look, and on the topic of the Chew the Fat podcast, I think the thing that I've liked about it is such a range of athletes. It's been really cool to hear from athletes and disciplines that maybe I'm not familiar with. Some jumpers and stuff like that, and hearing the stories from them about their event and the things they've been involved in. It's been really cool to listen to. So,
National champion Anthony Novelo can't be easy coming back from what happened to him in that previous, where he went to ground and, you know, was visibly hurt momentarily, clearly with nothing, no lasting effect, but just to get back out there and do it, I suppose, is all you can do. Anthony's fouled out there. 50-81 the previous throw of Damien Wells as we update that board for you. Anthony is set to win this comfortably and to take out some of the prize pool for breaking a meet record and a long-standing meeting record as well. Part of that podcast we chatted to the South African brothers Valerie and Ethan Olivia, who are competing for New Zealand. They live in South Africa, and they both recently performed outstandingly well in a triple jump meet in their homeland, South Africa. Ethan, of course, represented us at the World Juniors and finished 4th. He only got knocked out of a medal in the last jump. Valerie jumped within a centimetre of the long-standing triple jump New Zealand record recently, so it could be interesting to see which one of the brothers actually gets there first, the older Valerie or the younger Ethan, but they both have a good career potentially ahead of them at international meets wearing the black singlet, and stories like that are quite interesting to me. And we've had an Indian sprinter who's gone through Australia and now able to represent New Zealand here tonight, so there's all of those stories in the background in athletics as well. So women's hammer into their 6th and final throw, with the lower height athlete Arana Tafili exiting the circle for the final time. Shaka Solar was also a guest on the show, probably the funniest show we did, because that's Shaka's nature and clearly an inspiration to a lot of people, and we wish him well tomorrow for the solar power meet, because I'm not sure if you recall last year, but the weather the next day was basically torrential rain, certainly steady rain anyway, but they managed to still have their meeting, which now actually has significant status as well for the throwers.
Yeah, I remember last year I was planning on taking my kids out there to watch, and unfortunately I'm a fair weather throws watcher, so when the weather turned, it was a little bit easier to catch some of the coverage that was online. So, but no, it's certainly a great meet. All these top athletes get out there. It's quite a a small venue, and it makes for a quite amazing atmosphere for a throws meet.
And that was Michaela Solar previously to Tegan Ashley throwing there. Michaela Solar has pulled out a 42.39 and is in 6th spot.
And you can see Shaka's even parked the truck up there behind the hammer throw circle to make sure we can see it. The solar power black truck up there with the green writing on it. So good on Shaka. He's sitting there on the bank. He's enjoying watching this hammer throw competition.
Marketed to the last he is. As we update the leaderboard in the women's hammer throw, Lauren Bruce is going to claim another Capital Classic title here, but unfortunately not getting near her record from 2 years ago of 71 and 66, but she'll be happy to at least to have pulled out something in the mid-60s in the previous round, and now she'll come in for her final throw. Her release has been getting better and better throughout this competition, Reese. I know she's been a regular at the Solar Power meeting, and if she's heading out tomorrow, she might do something pretty good because she seems to have been improving throughout the evening.
Yeah, look, and we were talking about it earlier with Tom. The second he releases that shot, he knows, you see it on his face. He turns around, he's got a big smile on his face, he knows what he's produced, and I think we saw the same there with Lauren. As soon as she released that hammer, big smile went up on her face. She stepped out.
65 and 63, so she has saved her best for last. We know she's got more in her, but she'll be pleased, I think, with the final 3 throws of her series. And Lexi Maple some 10 metres back, and Elizabeth Hewitt and Diani Shepherd-Oates with opportunities to improve on what they've done so far. Diani stepping into the circle.
Yeah, it's turning into a perfect evening here in Wellington. I'd love to see a 3,000 metre race lining up right now.
Yeah.
It's not just the temperature just cooling off a little bit. I remember a number of years ago, in order to make sure we hit this kind of weather, we actually had some cars out there on the track lighting up the finish line for a mile here in Wellington. Or 1,500 metre here in Wellington. It was an opportunity for a couple of us to qualify for the short course at the World Cross Country Champs. And I'm sure Paul Hamblin's in the background watching. He's had a couple of athletes down here running tonight. And ran a 1,500 metre run here with Paul Hamblin. With the lights down on the track. Perfect conditions. It was about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. The things we used to be able to do on a track without getting in trouble.
Lexi Maple's there with her final throw, and she said good competition tonight, and we'll get her final throw distance in just a moment or two. I mean, there's all manner of innovation in athletics, and the 10,000 metre night here recently, I believe I wasn't actually able to be here for it, but you may have been here, I'm not sure, but where they actually put up effectively a large marquee or tent over the track for a period of the straight?
Yeah, so it's an event organised by Wellington Scottish. It's had the Wellington 10,000 and Masters 10,000 metre champs here for the last few years. In 2022, they managed to secure the national 10,000 metre champs as well. Decided to go big and bold, taking on some of the things that have been learnt with the Highgate track, with the Night of 10,000s in the UK, which has just gone from strength to strength. And one of the things they have down the back straight is a marquee over the track. People inside the marquee, on the track, in and about lane 3, drinking beers, cheering the athletes on as they go through, and it creates quite an atmosphere. Certainly it was something to try this year. I think that's what they're trying to do with the event, create an atmosphere where everyone that wants to run a fast 10,000 can come to Newtown Park and run a fast 10,000 in November.
So Elizabeth Hewitt there finishing with a 47.88, but her best overall 55 and 35. It did have her in the lead at the halfway stage. Lexi Maples pulled out her best with her last throw of 56 and 69. Lauren Bruce taking the win, 65 and 63. And certainly Lexi Maples and Elizabeth Hewitt pretty wrapped, I think, with their placings in behind Lauren Bruce here tonight as we see the men wrap up. Heath Abbott having his final throw. Of course, in the hammer throw, we've seen the recent retirement of Julia Ratcliffe, who collected a full set of Commonwealth Games medals and was swapping the record there with Lauren Bruce for a wee while. And also Nicole Bradley recently announcing her retirement. So we had 3 that made it to the Commonwealth Games, but Lauren Bruce now left to fly the flag for New Zealand women's hammer.
Yeah, and I think we've spoken about it in past years here at the Capital Classic, is having those women lining up throw for throw at a meet like this has been just brilliant to watch. I think for them as athletes, having that high level of competition at a domestic meet makes all the difference. We know they can go over to Australia, we know they can go international, but to be able to do it on home soil, to set you up, to prepare yourself to then be able to go off to Commonwealth Games or European season is amazing. So yeah, tough for Lauren now that she's kind of standing out there on her own. But I'm sure, especially when we talk about the Solar Power Academy coming through and look, some of the coaching around New Zealand, and certainly the inspiration from the Tom Walshes and Valerie Adams over the last few years, I'm sure we've got some good throwers coming up behind them as well.
Yeah, and we've seen some of them tonight, obviously, with people like Elizabeth Hewitt and Michaela Solar and Alexander Hewitt in the men's, and obviously the very tender age to be throwing the hammer, and some of them are just moving up the weights towards the full weight as well. And with some years of experience, if they continue to go down that path, you can see significant improvement in the years to come, and particularly with people like Shaka Solar pushing locals to do that. That's what will produce our next throwing champions. Alexander Hewitt with his final.
I think we might have a red flag down there on the circle with a foot out the front.
And we'll have Damien Wells and Anthony Nobilo to conclude the hammer and conclude the Team Ledger Harcourts Capital Classic for 2023.
I must admit, even though we've got a brilliant view up here, we've got the screen sitting in front of us with all these camera angles showing us all these brilliant shots. I sometimes really do wish I was down on the edge of that hammer circle and getting to hear Shaka Solar cheering on the athletes.
Throw from Damien Wells here to complete his set. Alexander Hewitt fouling, as Reece mentioned there, the red flag out for his final throw. He'll finish with the best 45 and 39. Damien Wells' final throw being measured now, and Anthony Nobilo will conclude this competition and indeed the competition for the evening. I'm sure we're getting paid overtime, Reece, but
I think we just saw it with Damien there as he released that throw. He turns around, there was a bit of heckling there. I'm going to say it was definitely from Shaka. Some heckling in the throws fans camp.
52 and 77 to complete for Damien, his best 55.02. Good to have the Oceania Under-20 champion here tonight up against our national champion, Anthony Nobilo, who'll come in for his final throw, looking to improve on his second round of 67.48.
Well, you say about we're not getting paid for overtime, but I am looking forward to getting down to the Mediterranean Food Warehouse after this, one of our sponsors. It's the athlete dinner down there. I know I'm not quite the athlete I used to be, but I can certainly go and socialise with the athletes, with the best of them, and looking forward to that down at Mediterranean Food Warehouse.
Anthony has walked out the front of the circle to complete his competition. He takes a meeting record, breaking one that has stood for some 20 years. Philip Jensen back in 2003 with 67.43. Anthony Nobilo winning, putting 5 centimetres on that, 67.48 to continue his outstanding 2022-23 athletics season. And I believe that will bring our broadcast to an end. We do thank those who have brought us the pictures and timely direction as well to cover off a very busy time. Athletics, where there's always something going on at the Olympics or World Championships. You can sit back and watch one event and commentate on one event. But for us, it's a case of covering several, both track and field at the same time within 3 hours. We do hope that you have enjoyed the coverage here out of Newtown Park. Reece, your best memory from tonight?
Oh, look, those 3,000 metre finishes, certainly in my blood, the 3,000 metres. And look, they didn't disappoint tonight. Brilliant finish from Laura Nagel. Brilliant storming run from Julian Oakley. Great to watch. A great send-off for those athletes as well, heading off to World Cross Country.
And that'll wrap up our coverage here. Thanks, as I say, to the team, the crew who brought you the action here tonight on Whakata Māori. We will leave you for now and look forward to the remainder of the athletics season and back here in a month, of course, for the New Zealand National Championships.